3, the much-awaited episode 3 from last night.
Invite me to 2K.
I got you. Let me invite my boy to 2K, get everything right.
I might be able to win another game against you.
He might.
Because it's not that hard. To be honest with you, it's really not that hard.
Let me see. Let me leave this real quick. Send you. Woo! Today we got a juicy topic day. That's what I like to call it, a juicy topic day. Let's get it.
Yeah, let me get everything set up real fast.
I do not see your name on here.
Yeah, my dog's about to bug.
Hold up.
Oh, God. Oh.
Welcome to the stream, to that one viewer. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it. We're about to get into the show in just a minute. Let me invite Tyler to my go in the lobby. I'm gonna join you from the party. You already know.
Let me see if it lets me go on. Yeah, that's not letting me. Hold on, I'm about to close that.
Alright. Hey. Before we get started, y'all, I want to appreciate every single supporter we had the last 2 days. We've gotten a great reaction to the channel. We just appreciate everybody coming in here and talking to us and just watching us, because it makes us feel like we're doing something right. Me and Tyler, the last 2 days, have been putting in so much work into this channel, and there's so much work to do after this. But what we want to do is bring you guys reliable sports outlets like ourselves. We watch the sports, we do it every single night, and I want you guys to really understand the effort that we put in every single day. This is something that we really wanted to do, and we thank you guys from the bottom of our heart for showing the support and appreciation. The show will get started in just a minute. We're just working on getting the 2K game started. So,
alright, the stream and thumbnail, the tags is all set up, so let me close that. Load up 2K.
Make sure your voice is allowed to be shared. Make sure your voice is allowed to be shared.
I did. I already did that before we started the stream.
I'm making sure. Just making sure.
Alright. So let's get these topics set up. Alright. So last night was Thursday night football?
Well,
some people watched most of the game, not all of it.
Some like.
But
hey.
You know, my son Jared Goff was going crazy.
He was doing alright.
What do you mean alright?
He was doing okay. I mean, let me stop. Look,
I ain't never seen that one quarterback for that one team, the Jets. I ain't never seen him do that.
Hey, we could throw shots all day, but we're gonna start off with Jared Goff and Goff and the Rams versus the.
Let's start off with the team. Let's start off with yesterday's game. Well, specifically the Rams.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna start off with the winner. Let me get in this, Ty. Last night, Thursday night football. The Rams versus Vikings, a much anticipated game this week. Probably, I looked throughout every single game, and that was the game I really pinpointed as the best game of the week. And boy, did it live up to its hype. Offensively, what a great showing by both teams. But I think the thing that kind of switched the momentum was that D-line of the St. Louis Rams getting pressure on Kirk Cousins. That was so essential for that team. And by Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh, specifically Aaron Donald, that guy's a monster, and he just got a well-deserved payday in the beginning of the season. That is truly a game-changing defender, much like Khalil Mack. And Ndamukong Suh did really well. You know, and they do really well together, and I was kind of skeptical in the beginning of the season, see how they would do together, but they've been looking really good, and that D-line looks absolutely monstrous. That paired up with Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib, who was injured last night, and you could kind of see the effects of it between Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs' numbers. You kind of see the effects of Aqib Talib being missing, but nonetheless, they played a great game offensively, and the defense did enough to win the game. And that's kind of what you ask for when you're going up against a high-octane offense. We know we're not going to stop them, but we can hope to contain them. And Tyler brought up a good point. In the beginning of that game, it kind of felt like the first defense to get a stop, that team is going to win the game. And it was that. It was the first team. I think Minnesota took a field goal in I want to say the second or the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter.
Yeah, the second quarter.
And I mean, we'll get to it later. But Jared Goff, whew, he was insane.
He had a game.
He was insane.
I mean, that was a good game last night, especially offensively, like you said. I mean, like we said earlier, it was the first defense to really make a stop, and both defenses made stops, but neither team really effectively countered off capitalized off of the stops. But the Rams did capitalize off of field goals, which I know Minnesota made 2 of them. That's really what they lost the game offensively, because they kicked 2 field goals. They got touchdowns there. We don't know where this game could have went.
And really, what you want to look at with yesterday's game is the efficiency of the Rams offense. You understand what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that are going into winning the game, but making sure you score 7 every drive is the goal. That's the objective. Making sure you score 7 on every drive. 3 is good. 7 is the best. You want to do that every single drive. So kudos to the Rams offense and Sean McVay, the head coach, who's a great mind, and he's just such a good head coach in the league, and he's so young. That's what's so surprising. But Jared Goff is in good hands with Sean McVay, somebody who they dubbed the quarterback whisperer a couple years back when he was with, coincidentally, Kirk Cousins. That was Kirk Cousins' QB coach. And you kind of see a little bit of the effects it had on Kirk Cousins, and now you see the effects it has on Jared Goff. But Tyler, I mean, me and you both have to agree that Vikings defense has underwhelmed us to this point, and they were, dubbed one of the best defenses in the league coming into the season. I know you had strong feelings about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we both came to a common ground, and they were probably the second best defense after Jacksonville.
Yeah, yep.
And the last 2 weeks, I mean, they just been getting picked apart.
Sadly
by the Bills, but at least this time it's to a top 3 offense in the league.
Oh man, and probably the best team right now. Offense. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and you want to look at it and see the weaknesses of that Minnesota Vikings defense. Coming into the year, I watched a lot of Vikings games last year, and I seen playoff Vikings games, and you started to see a little bit last year in the postseason the kind of weakness that they had in their defense. Kind of the back end, those linebackers, it's pass coverage. Run defense, Minnesota has always ranked top 10 especially in these last 5 years. Mike Zimmer's a great head coach. Nothing taken away from him. But that pass coverage is horrible. Xavier Rhodes was letting his frustration be known. You should never do that in football because, wide receivers see that as a weakness. They'll take that and they'll run with it. As you can see, 3 receivers over 100 yards. Robert Woods had 101. I think Brandon Cooks had 125. And Cooper Kupp, bro, he went nuts. That kid went nuts. And that's the up-and-coming star. 162, bro. That is amazing. That's the up-and-coming star in this league. We have to keep notice. But Minnesota, is not like they played a bad game offensively. What I was stressing...
they played a great game.
Great game. And what I was stressed...
for Kirk Cousins.
Right. And what I was stressed for Minnesota, like I mentioned yesterday in yesterday's stream, is that they run the ball and control time of possession. They did lead time of possession yesterday within teams. However, they only led by 5 minutes. And what you want to do is take the air out of the ball with your run game and Dalvin Cook. You don't want to make it a shootout because, let's get real, a more talented team, a more reliable offensive line, that's the Rams. And the Rams have faster receivers. You know what I'm saying? More receivers, they can go downfield. So
they're just more talented all around.
Exactly. You get into a shootout with these guys, it's bad news for you. It's bad news for you, and that's for any team that they're facing in the coming weeks. Next week they got Seattle. I feel bad for that Seattle team. I truly do because this team is legit. This team is legit, and me and Tyler, I think I can speak for you, Tyler. We both see this team right here going far in the playoffs. I'm talking about real far, and you know what that means. And yesterday I made my Super Bowl predictions, and I said the Saints versus the who did I say?
Rams.
The Saints.
You talking about Super Bowl?
Yeah.
You said Saints versus who'd you say? I forgot.
If I'm not mistaken.
How you forget? It's your prediction?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. Saints versus Chiefs. I said Saints versus Chiefs.
Oh yeah.
I still got the Chiefs in there, but now I'm kind of reconsidering my NFC pick because the Rams absolutely look dominant within the first 4 weeks of the season, 3 weeks of the season rather. So, or 4. So I wanna stress that this Rams defense and this Rams team in general is on the rise, and I think they take over this year. The Vikings. Kudos to them, and they played a well all-around game. Defensively, they played kind of putrid, especially in the back end. You know, those corners have to play better, and the linebackers have to play better in coverage. Um, Eric Kendrick, he was getting picked apart all last night. You understand what I'm saying? And you can't have that, especially one of the top linebackers in the league in general, getting picked apart in pass coverage. What you should depend on as a middle linebacker is pass coverage and run stop. So
yeah, him and Anthony Barr, like I felt like they were bullying Anthony Barr whenever he picked up someone on the deep ball. It was a touchdown every time. Like they got literally 3 touchdowns off of him. The first one was to Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
Just like a little wheel and touchdown. He's not fast enough to keep up with these faster receivers. Like you said, the Rams, they are fast. Brandon Cooks is fast.
That's probably the most important part. That's probably the most important part of that offense is their speed. Rather than pure general skill at the wide receiver position, they have a lot of speed. And when you want to talk about hands, if you seen Cooper Kupp last night, Jared Goff was placing the ball where only he can get it, and Cooper Kupp hands are legit. He was catching everything thrown his way. Thursday Night Football was fuego yesterday, bro, and this is what I want to see from Thursday night games. An entertaining game, but also you can see the elites in the league against the other elites in the league, and rather than the elites versus a team that's not really destined to go anywhere this year, even playoffs. So that was great. But let's get to the top story of the day, and that is Jared Goff. A few minutes ago, I posted on social media, he went through the initiation to join the elite QB club last night, and he passed with flying colors. This man was all over the field, beautiful throws all around, getting everybody involved. Todd Gurley as a pass catcher, Jared Goff got him involved there because the runs weren't necessarily going anywhere sometimes. You know, it was kind of a mediocre run game by Todd Gurley, but the thing that make running backs great is being multifaceted, coming out the backfield, you know, catching balls out the backfield
and
running.
He almost broke 100 yards receiving last night.
Yeah.
He had 73.
Exactly.
4 receptions,
so that it's always good to have somebody like that on your team, a running back who can also come out of the backfield and run that ball in between the lines, and that's so good.
And I think, I was about to say, I think that's what also makes running backs like Le'Veon Bell so good. Like he's a dual threat. Yep. That's what really makes him good, and his ability to run and receive it is ridiculous.
Exactly. And Le'Veon
he's not playing.
Exactly, and Le'Veon, much like Todd Gurley, they're patient runners. You feel me? They're not so much of a when you see that hole, I gotta get it. You know, they're patient. They can wait for the hole to open up, and that's what's so special about those cats. But back to the guy, Jared Goff, super amazing performance last night, and I want to personally tell Jared Goff, if I was to ever speak to him, has he been eating his Wheaties? Because that was a different type of performance last night. And I gotta commend him and the offensive coordinator and the head coach Sean McVay for putting out a game plan and bringing his true talents out to the forefront, because his first year he kind of struggled a little bit, and you kind of seen the growth as a rookie quarterback. That's why I'm not so opposed to starting Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen, because Jared Goff is living proof that if you get experience your first year, even if it's struggling experience is what you need to be in this league. And Jared Goff got it, and he hasn't looked back. Kudos to that man. I know you have some real good thoughts on Jared Goff. So
yeah, he definitely made me a fan last night. Like, he was just making those kind of passes that he looked like an all-time great. Like,
yeah,
for real. He was just putting the ball in places where only his receiver can catch it.
Exactly.
I mean, there was bad plays that the Rams receivers even ran. I mean, there was a play where the 2 wide receivers got crossed up in the end zone and they got stuck on each other. He still put it in a spot where only his receiver can catch it.
And I think that touchdown was for Cooper Kupp, if I'm not mistaken. But you want to that's what you want to do as a quarterback. It's called improvision, and that's what quarterbacks do. When things look a little tough, you stay calm, you stay patient. And I was telling Tyler this earlier. One of the key traits for quarterbacks nowadays, a lot of people want to look at the arm, how strong the arm is, or how fast he can throw. One of the two of the main things that you need in a quarterback is one, poise. It's so key to be poised as a quarterback. When you come in the league and people see you moving around jittery like a rookie, you know what I'm saying? They feast on that. They want to come at you fast. That's when defenses draw up their big blitzes. But when they see you standing in right there and just making anticipatory throws and throwing the ball over defenders, it's so great to see quarterbacks play like that, I love that. Like, okay, so, Tyler says, I think it's more McVay than Goff, though. Of course, he is executed exceptionally well, but the play calling is top notch. And bro, and we agree, and I agree. From my side, I don't know about Tyler, but I know I agree. McVay is a great head coach, and he's really changed the culture in LA. Like, he's brought back LA sports, and that's key for the NFL in general and making money for the NFL. LA has to the top notch is a top notch city, so you have to have the best coming out of LA, and McVay has brought the best. He has brought the best out of Jared Goff, out of his Rams offense that was struggling a couple years back. And so, in his defense, of course, you've seen the moves they made in the offseason, acquiring Marcus Peters, acquiring Aqib Talib, and Ndamukong Suh. That is real life upgrades.
And
that can,
I agree, like, with the play calling and stuff. Like, yeah, you need good play calling to execute, but at the same time, Jared Goff was putting that ball on the money. Like, he was putting it places, like, perfect, like, literally.
Exactly.
I mean, he got, like, the pass we were talking about earlier in the back right corner of the end zone. Like, he was double covered, and it was literally perfectly put where only the receiver can get it. The 47-yard pass to, I think it was it Brandon Cooks? I think it was Brandon Cooks. It was placed perfectly right in front of him. It dropped right in his hands.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the play calling is good, but Jared Goff put it on the money for him too.
Execute, and Tyler, you said it. Even traffic, you said it. You said execution. That's what matters. You can draw up a great game plan, but if your players don't execute, the result won't be the same. And Jared Goff and that offense executed last night, but not only executed. What Ty is trying to say is that Jared Goff made big time throws. You know what I'm saying? You can build up a game. You can build up a game plan where you can get the receivers open, but occasionally, about 4 or 5 times throughout a game, a quarterback is forced to make a throw that he or she he is not comfortable with. So Sam Darnold, but he made a couple big throws that I was very impressed with, and throws I'm used to seeing from kind of guys like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. That was really impressive for me. So yeah, just kudos to that game in general, and Troy and Joe Buck for calling such a great game. Tyler, let's move on from Thursday Night Football.
All right. Well, from there, now I want to continue talking about Thursday Night Football because we haven't really spoke that much on the Vikings because yesterday's stream you made a good statement that the Vikings need to run the ball more to be successful just in the game in general. I mean, Kirk Cousins had 50 throws. He completed 36 of them.
Yeah.
And the worst part of that's a great performance for him. I mean, they paid him money and he performed. He deserved what he got.
Yeah.
But the fact that Kirk Cousins as a quarterback had the most rushing yards on the team, that's not good. I mean, he only had 4 rushing attempts. He had 28 yards.
Exactly. And I agree with you.
They need more. They need more running. Definitely.
And you know what they say? I think Parcells always said this: never go away from the run game. Dalvin Cook played last night, traffic, and the thing about it is, maybe he was a little nicked up the last week, and maybe they didn't want to give him a lot of carries. But that's why you signed Latavius Murray from Oakland, who had a monstrous year 2 years ago. I think he exceeded 1,000 yards in that year. Latavius Murray is that kind of benefit you got from going out and getting the backup running back. Latavius Murray can pound the ball inside. He's a tough runner. He only got 2 carries last night. Dalvin Cook only got 10. Between the 3 true running backs on their team, they got 13 carries. Todd Gurley had more carries than all of them together. You understand what I'm saying? So it's really about putting the ball on the ground and making play action easier for Kirk Cousins and making second and third downs easier for the Vikings offense, where you don't have to throw the ball long yardage or 10 yards down. You're trying to get 5 yards between two plays, and that's a lot easier than trying to get 10 or even 15 with penalties. So I think the Vikings have a good formula to win. Obviously, defense got to play better, but traffic. That's something traffic said Vikings defense is overrated, and that's something we're looking at, and I have to think to myself, are they overrated? So, Tyler, do you agree that they're overrated?
I mean, it's not something I'm not gonna agree or disagree because I think they have a good defense. I mean, they have good pieces. It's just that you can't say that they're not overrated for the simple fact that they're getting picked apart. I mean, you can't lose to the Bills. I just like, and then you can't expect to come back against a great offense like the Rams. Like that's why you actually had me surprised with your pick when you said Minnesota was the Rams. I don't think that if you can't beat the Bills, then you're gonna definitely lose to a good offense like the Rams. Which, if you ask me, the Rams have, if not the best, the second best.
I agree.
It is the beginning of the season still. I mean, it's only week 4, but they're gonna have to shape up sooner or later.
So and I think a lot of it has to do with scheming. Like, you know, they weren't playing they were playing a lot of man against these fast receivers, and I guess that's when I'll say I prefer zone, because you're playing against so many fast receivers like Brandon Cooks, and Cooper Kupp is such a good receiver, so young, and that's so surprising. Like, I do agree that the Vikings defense hasn't shown up, but defenses like that, they have the ability to bounce back. And I thought that game was going to be this week against the Rams, but look at the opponent, man. The Rams are an elite team in the league. So I believe the Vikings defense will bounce back next week, and I'm hoping they do, because the Vikings being good in the NFL is such a good thing for the league. They haven't been good in so long, and when they were good, a lot of tragic things will happen. Like, and so that's really where we stand. But we got some great games on Sunday slate, and I think we can both agree that we're looking forward to that Tennessee Titans game versus the Eagles. What are your thoughts on that game, Ty?
Two underrated. I think that's 2 underrated defenses right there, especially the Titans. I mean, they went head for head with the Jags, so
that was
we both
impressive.
came to an agreement that that's the best defense in the league. I think right there they showed that they were a little underrated.
Exactly.
Not to mention they're only going up against Blake Bortles, but still, I mean,
before we go any further,
play defense.
Yeah, exactly. Before we go any further, I would like to shout out David Gilbert, Kendera Brown, Traffic_23. We appreciate you guys for showing support and love throughout the day, throughout the stream. It means so much to us. We love you guys. Keep commenting, man. We want to hear what you guys think about the sports day last night, and what's been going on in the NBA and the NFL. So, anyway, Tyler, we was on the Tennessee Titans versus the Eagles. This game is going to come down to the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line. Tennessee has both a great offensive line and a great defensive line to protect Mariota. And I think Tennessee, this was one of my upsets. Tennessee is going to take this game from the Eagles, and they're going to do it in a sloppy, hard-nosed fashion that they usually do, like they won last week at Jacksonville, or at Tennessee versus Jacksonville when they won 6-3. You don't usually see those games in this league anymore, and I know
those are good games too. I mean, everyone always wants to see the high-scoring games like last night.
Absolutely.
I mean, the games where it's hard to score, those are good games too, because everyone's silent, waiting for someone to break the noise and score. I mean,
exactly.
It just didn't happen that game. Touchdowns anyways.
We've been spoiled with the kind of offensive clinics, and I guess that's based around the rules that they put out for quarterbacks and the rules they put out for cornerbacks, where everything is just such pity-pat league, and every time you touch somebody, it's a penalty. So you've seen the passing go higher every single year, and I think Tennessee is going to take advantage of that kind of defensive onslaught and that kind of defensive game. We should see a lot of turnovers in this game. I'm predicting at least 3. Carson Wentz is a turnover machine. He's a great quarterback, but a turnover machine. Some people can't escape that. Ask Brett Favre, ask Andrew Luck. So I'm doubting Jared Goff puts up 300 yards all 4 games. Jared Goff is a really good quarterback, David, and I know you know that. He is, and he's going to be worth MVP consideration this year, along with Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? So those guys right there are the future of our league. We should be excited to see them play coming up. And the Chiefs play the Rams in a couple weeks, I believe. That's going to be an exciting game. I'm definitely watching that. Khalil Mack is my front runner right now. We'll get to Khalil Mack later on, Traffic, and that's going to be good. So yeah, I think the Tennessee Titans beat the Eagles. They edge them out in a tough defensive match. And I think the Eagles fall back down to earth this year. I'm not a big fan of the Eagles making it back to the Super Bowl or even out of the second round of the playoffs, if that. So, who you got in that game, Tom?
Well, the Eagles, this right now this season, the Eagles are really banged up right now. I mean, especially Fucking Carson Wentz just came off an injury, which
Exactly, and the two running
of course,
backs
came off against my team, right? And they
exactly
won.
right. Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of them are injured right now, so it's not like I don't really expect them doing much this season, anyways, because
No, for real.
not all of them are there.
Yep, and the two running backs that they got, and I heard somebody put out a rumor that they should go try to get Le'Veon Bell. I know David, you wouldn't like this, but Ajayi is injured.
Anyone should go get him.
Le'Veon, exactly. Every team will get better with Le'Veon Bell. And I think the Eagles should really look at exploring that trade. Darren Sproles, Jay Ajayi are both out, you know, at least for the upcoming weeks. So they're thin at running back. But even with Jay Ajayi and Darren Sproles, Le'Veon Bell is better than both of them put together and both of their skill sets put together. He is such a patient runner. He is such a threat out the backfield. 80 catches last year. That's insane for a running back. So I would love to see them go pursue a trade for Le'Veon Bell, and maybe then I'll give them the edge to win the Super Bowl again. Hey, Traffic said Le'Veon to the Jets, and I'm not opposed to that. I am not opposed to that. I would love that to happen. You know, the Jets will be front-runner Super Bowls for the next 3 years if that happens. I'm just saying. Don't quote me. But
3? You saying 3? I'm giving them at least 5.
At least 5, right? Shoot. The Jets win the Super Bowl every year for the next 20 years with Le'Veon. So we've already come to that conclusion. So
no, that's easy.
So along with that game, Tennessee versus Eagles, there's some other great games on Sundays matchups, and out to this specific one I want to talk about because we have a Steelers fan in here, and it's a divisional matchup, and we're so used to seeing that hard-nosed defenses coming together when Baltimore meets Pittsburgh. This game should be a great dogfight, and I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to a shootout. That's kind of the Steelers' defense. They're not known for having a bad defense, but this year they kind of have a bad defense, and no Le'Veon Bell. So I picked the Steelers to win this game, and I want to stay true to that prediction. The Steelers will win this game by, I think, at least 2 touchdowns. I think they pull away late, but Baltimore can stay in it. They have a reliable quarterback in Joe Flacco, who from your 2 eyes looks like he's really underrated, but he's performed. I just seen some numbers for the last 19 games he's played. He's performed really well over the last 2 seasons plus. So, like, he's really doing well. And I think the Ravens are hold close for the first 3 quarters, but I think Big Ben and that Antonio Brown and James Conner led offense will prove to be too much for that Baltimore defense and Terrell Suggs. How do you feel about that game, Ty?
I mean, I don't really think it's going to turn into a shootout because even though the Steelers are missing Le'Veon Bell, I mean, they still got Big Ben and they still got arguably the best receiver in the game of football. So offensively, I feel like they'll be fine. I mean, it'll definitely be easier with Le'Veon Bell. Don't get that wrong.
Yeah, it would. And James Conner has played well. I have to admit, James Conner has played well, but Le'Veon Bell poses a different threat than James Conner. When Antonio Brown is getting double teamed and Juju can't get open, Le'Veon Bell proves to be that third receiver, that third reliable receiver that they haven't had in a while. So I agree with you. I agree with you that the Steelers running back situation is not as bad as everybody thinks. I know you were saying that earlier, so it's not as bad as everybody thinks. But Le'Veon Bell will definitely help in the receiving game more than just the running game. He will help in the running game because he's that good. But more than that, he'll help in the receiving game. Traffic says they can't cover my grandma. That is so disrespectful to the Steelers defense, and I'm not disagreeing with him. My grandmother is dead and will still put up numbers on that defense. David Gilbert says TJ Watt is fucking scary. This is so true. TJ Watt is molded from the same cloth as his brother. JJ and TJ go crazy in this league. Both 2 stout pass rushers should both have bright futures in this league. I mean, JJ is arguably a Hall of Famer already because of defensive players of the league, but TJ should have a bright future. That Ravens defense is top 2. Very good defense, Ty. The very good defense. And you know, they play hard nose on that run game, and I think that's what was so scary about this week and why the Steelers should be on alert, because James Conner has been going up against weak run defense, but he's going up against a good run defense right now with tough middle linebackers and tough linebackers in general. So I think that is going to be key in the Sunday night football game between the Steelers and the Ravens. David says people don't give Ben enough credit. He gets everyone involved, everyone. I mean, you know, he has
Ben made some big plays last week.
Yes, I was just gonna say against
huge plays last week.
I was just gonna say, yep, against the Buccaneers, Ben played really big, and he played big in terms of like how his numbers, but he played big in terms of body. You know, although they have a lot of quarterback rules, Ben and Cam Newton have not been getting those calls for a long time, and have been people getting those calls a lot. But Ben and Cam Newton, because of how big they are, much like Shaq, you don't get those calls because they blame you for being big, as if it's your fault. Big Ben always plays big, and when he needs to, and when he needs to get a win, he always gets that win. So kudos to Big Ben, and hopefully the Steelers can win for you, David. What's up next, Ty?
Especially on Monday, I wanted to say, especially on Monday, Big Ben definitely closed that game for the Steelers, I feel.
Yes, he did. He sure did.
But anyways, you wanted to get on to the next one. You said you wanted to talk about the Chiefs and the Broncos, right?
The Chiefs and the Broncos. Like, let's get straight to it. Defense, one of the league's best defenses, and Von Miller specifically, versus the league's best offense up to this point in Patrick Mahomes. Look, Patrick Mahomes is a monster. We know this. But I want to talk about that Denver defense that's been underrated for so many years, in my opinion. And then when they finally won that Super Bowl, it was so bittersweet for me, because obviously I want the Jets to win every year. But that defense worked extremely hard, and they carried the GOAT Peyton Manning into that Super Bowl win. Before I continue, I want to thank every single viewer who's in here right now. We have 5 right now, Ty. We're doing good right now. We appreciate the love and support from all of you guys. It means so much to us. But let me get to this defense. Von Miller leads the league in sacks. Von Miller leads the league in sacks, and Bradley Chubb on that line, Brandon Marshall in the linebacker position. These guys play hard-nosed football, and they get in your face. As a quarterback, you should be scared when you're going up against this team. Patrick Mahomes hasn't quite yet faced a defense like he's going to face this Monday. So I'm excited for that one, and I know you're specifically excited for that one, Ty.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I definitely want to see Patrick Mahomes against some good defenses, because I just want to see if he can still play up to the potential that he has been, that people are putting up, not potential, but to the, what am I trying to say? Fuck.
To the hype.
Well,
he wants to see if he lives up to the hype.
To the hype. Yeah, to the hype. Because he has 13 touchdowns so far this season, leading the league, leading all the quarterbacks, including some of the best, like Drew Brees, Tom Brady.
Yes.
As we talk about Big Ben, all these quarterbacks, he's got the most touchdowns out of all of them.
And even more than that, what's impressive is the ball security out of Patrick Mahomes. He hasn't thrown an interception just yet.
He hasn't thrown one interception yet, which is amazing.
So when you're tearing it up like that, and people know you're going to pass, they tend to cut off those passing lanes. But Patrick Mahomes throws the ball with such zip, such velocity, that it's just so hard for cornerbacks to make a read on those balls. Tyreek Hill is amazing. We all know this. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs probably have the fastest offense, or the second fastest to the Rams in the league. Tyreek Hill is a monster, very underrated. And David, I agree with you. Von Miller is amazing every year. We just do not talk about it, and that's very true. We never talk about how good Von Miller is on a consistent basis, and that's what's most important. Consistency is most important. And I'm sorry for those sirens. It's New York City. It happens. But but Von Miller is always amazing. Traffic says Denver can't score 30 points. Kansas City has too many weapons.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Very underrated defense in the league. Kansas City is very underrated. But that offense of Kansas City, like you said, I don't think... I think 29 teams in this league can't compete with that offense. And Patrick Mahomes, I think, is a star. Tyler needs to see a little bit more of him. I don't blame him, because you kind of see this every year. A quarterback comes and has a couple good games, and like we're so quick to put the gold jacket on him and put him in the Hall of Fame already.
Yeah.
But I think
look at Baker Mayfield already. He hasn't even started the game yet.
Denver can't score 14.
He's going to be great.
Exactly. Yeah, Baker Mayfield played a half, and he's better than Dan Marino already. So I know for a fact that people want to jump on this Patrick Mahomes hype train, and I will stress them that they should. But Tyler will stress them that they shouldn't. Just because of sample size, he's only played 3 games in the league, and that's a valid point by Tyler. He's only played 3 games. I hope to God that he continues this, because it's great for the league, and I love seeing people throw that ball. David, Baker already a legend. Shut up, David. Shut up, all right? He's not a legend. He's not better than Darnold. You know that. So,
shut up.
You know he's not better than Darnold. So, I think David, you want to stick around for this one, because next topic we got on slot. Oh, thoughts on Josh Rosen? Come on, you know my thoughts on Josh Rosen. I followed the kid since he was in high school at St. John Bosco. I love his mechanics. He's the most NFL-ready quarterback to play, and I just don't think this year he has the offensive line to help him succeed. But you're going to see some throws where you're like, whoa. Like, you're going to see some of those throws for Arizona Cardinals games. So you should watch those games for real, because Josh Rosen is going to be a star in the making. And I think Baker Mayfield is going to be really good too. And Sam Darnold and Josh Allen. I seen a lot from him that I didn't think he had in him this past week against the Vikings. So I'm impressed by every single rookie quarterback. And I think with year time, they'll be all ready to start and make an impact for their teams. So we're going to transition right now. Unless Tyler has something to say. You have something to say, Tyler, for the stream?
Nah, you definitely just carried me, and I'm going to thank you for that.
Josh Allen is a physical threat, and that's for sure. Josh Allen is a big quarterback, big in length, big in body. Like he's kind of have a wide body. Him and Sam Darnold alike. So I do think that he really does carry that kind of physical threat. So like on 4th and 1s, he has a kind of body that can get you those QB sneaks, and that's always key. But he's also has some undercover speed that we don't know about. We kind of seen it in last game. He can run for those first downs on difficult. Jump
over people.
Exactly. He can jump over people. Yep. Did you see that play? That was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing play by Josh Allen. Yep. Tyler, if you want to add anything to David's comments or thoughts on Josh Rosen or Josh Allen, you can.
I haven't really seen much. I haven't watched that team. So I mean, especially last week, I didn't really watch any games last week, sadly. Besides Monday night, and I watched last night's game.
Right.
I was really busy this weekend. So
okay.
That's why I let you do most of the talking.
All right, so so right now we're transitioning into the MLB. I know we don't have a lot of baseball fans where I'm from, but I must talk about this. Bryce Harper is set to become Bryce Harper is set to become a free agent this offseason, and I just want to talk about some potential landing spots for him and how the fit would be. Outfield need. The Yankees have an outfield need for Brett Gardner. I think that the best spot for Bryce Harper to go to, yes, I'm a homer. Yes, I love my team. The best spot for Bryce Harper to go to is the New York Yankees. Him paired with Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge will be such an amazing, it'd be such an amazing outfield and a legendary outfit and historic outfit, I think. Numbers will be off the charts, and I feel like he has the best chance to win with New York. Other places include the Cubs. The Cubs have a really great, storied franchise over there, and I think he can't go wrong with wherever he goes. But I truly do stress to him, if you aiming for the chips, the Yankees have the most. Tyler asked, Yankees, do the Yankees make another run this year? We definitely need home field. Let's worry about the wild card game first. We definitely need home field for this wild card game against the Athletics. David is loving the way Boston is playing right now, and they're a true threat to the Yankees in the postseason, along with the Astros in Cleveland. But I would love to see the Yankees versus Red Sox in the ALCS this year. That would be beautiful. The ALCS with the Yankees and the Red Sox, that's legendary. And I know it would be good for the sport, and I know it would be good for me and David. But if we do play in the ALCS, we'll win that easy. Come on, we Yankee fans out here, Ty. Chris Sale is filthy. Bro, that slider is ridiculous. He plays amazing baseball when it matters the most. His stuff is so crazy, bro. I agree with you. But David Price gets yoked up every time he plays the Yankees. You seen that in the last game. We dropped numbers on him. And as long as we got David Price pitching every game in the ALCS, we should win. So that's that for the baseball wrap-up. We didn't want to go too much into that. Not a lot of people know about baseball. Baseball has a selective few fans. So we want to get to the juicy stuff. I know this is the stuff Ty Wilk wants to get into, bro. So I'm going to let you introduce this topic while I dream about the Yankees being in the ALCS.
All right, so now we're going to transfer into the NBA, which is more what I like. I like basketball more than football, and definitely more than baseball. I don't really watch baseball at all. But the first topic I want to talk about is KD claiming that his actual skill of the game of basketball is unappreciated. Me personally, I agree and disagree. I agree and disagree because he was honest about what he said, and he's a decent on-ball defender, and he's a great help defender. I don't think he deserves to get any defensive player of the year awards over the people that get them.
Yes.
I mean, he's still an elite defensive player. Don't get that wrong. But, I mean, he was right about everything he said. His talent is underappreciated for the simple fact that he went to the Warriors. I mean, that already gets him a downward look on him.
A bad reputation.
Yeah, bad rep because who wants to root for the person that went to the best team in the league? It's easier for him specifically because he doesn't have as much pressure on him now. I mean,
exactly.
He has 3 other scores he can lean off of. Not 4 with DeMarcus Cousins when he plays, but right now he has Curry and Clay. Oh,
did you see that?
Wait,
did you see that comment? Look, hey, whoa, these guys are going crazy. Tyler said KD is mad sensitive. He's the 4th best defender on his team, and David Gilbert said 5th. Look at this, guys. KD's the 2nd best defender on his team after Draymond.
I'd say 3rd after Clay and Draymond, personally.
No, I think he's better than Clay because he can guard the 1 and 2, and he can also guard the 4 and 5, which Clay obviously can't because of size. And KD's bigger than most centers. And, not because of my fandom for Steph Curry and the Warriors. Yeah, he's decent. Decent is understated because last year when Draymond was dealing with his issues, and the center position was never really locked last year for Golden State. KD really played a bigger part.
Right now, he ain't do that shit against the Lakers. So
he played a bigger. But look, exactly, they got a new threat in town, and I'm sure KD will shut down LeBron every time they play. But we'll get to that.
What?
David Gilbert says no talk on the Ryder Cup, bro. I'm probably gonna get to that at the end of the episode, simply because Tyler's not a big golf fan. And I've been keeping up with it just a little bit. So
I mean, you can talk about it. You can talk about it after this one, and then we can get back into basketball if you want.
Yeah, for sure. So he says Steph didn't. Steph is the best defender in the league. I don't want to say it, but he is the best defender in the league. Y'all know that.
Yeah,
I know that. My father done.
David said that, right? David started, bro.
David said, look, David knows what it is. David knows what it is. Steph is the best defender in the league. We all know that. You know what I'm saying? He not better than DeRozan, though. He not better than LaMarcus, though. You feel me? The Spurs team is going to be really good this year. But KD has to realize that no matter the kind of chip he has on his shoulder, he will never have a bigger chip than LeBron. You understand what I'm saying? If he says he can't get Defensive Player of the League, try being the MVP the last 10 seasons and not getting the award. Try being that, and that's what LeBron has been. He's been the best player on the court against everybody and anybody, and he still hasn't won another MVP after his first couple.
I know the MVP is the regular season award, but based off his postseason push, LeBron should have got MVP.
Just off the stress of that, like, bro, he carried an AAU team. I put that on Facebook. Somebody stole that. He carried an AAU team to the finals and damn near won a game. Sorry, JR.
He swept the number one team in the East, the Toronto Raptors, by himself.
By himself, and he does that every single year. It wasn't the first time he's done that. He does that every year to the Raptors, who can play great regular season. They'll be the best team in the regular season and the worst team in the postseason, and that's kind of ridiculous. And I think that's why Dwayne Casey got the boot this year, and they went with a more conservative approach with Nick Nurse as their new head coach. And they traded for Kawhi Leonard, and I know this is a topic that you really want to talk about, and I know our viewers would love to hear us talk about that trade. Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors for DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl.
Or you start this one. Who do you think won that trade?
Who do I think won the trade? I'm going to say the Spurs, because the Spurs have DeMar DeRozan locked down for another 3 to 4 years. So just in terms of longevity of contract, you're not really sure if Kawhi is going to stay in Toronto, and I doubt he will. He wants to go to that LA market, and I don't blame him. LA has a great market. You make more money, more business ventures. But the Spurs won that trade because they got a great big man in Jakob Poeltl who played for Utah, and I remember that Utah team. He was a monster on that team specifically. But DeMar DeRozan is an underrated player, and yes, he does get cold in the playoffs, but Popovich can take that out of him. Popovich has great playoff success, and with the help of him, the greatest coach of all time in my opinion, and that could be in any sport, him and Belichick up there, he's going to help DeMar DeRozan get over those playoff jitters because DeMar DeRozan is such a talented scorer from the mid-range, and now he got that 3-ball involved in his game. The Spurs are going to be well off, and now, let me get you. Go ahead. What you saying?
I was about to say, now my thing is I don't want to, like, me personally, I don't really think we could say who really won or lost that trade until this next offseason comes up. Mm-hmm. Because, like, say Kawhi does decide to stay in Toronto, I feel like if he comes back even 75% of what he was, I feel like Toronto won because before he got injured, he was the best defender in the league, and he proved that. He was... Before he got injured in the playoffs, they were winning that game against the Warriors in Game 1 of the playoffs.
And that's the argument. That's the argument we get to, and I do want to get to that. Let's get to some of our comments though. David says Kawhi was leaving after this year, and they were asking for a king's ransom for Kawhi, and they got it from the Raptors. I agree. If you told me that If you told me that the Spurs were going to get DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi, who's obviously not staying or playing at all this year, and he wasn't going to stay next year, so they got DeMar DeRozan, somebody who has the potential to be a superstar in this league with his scoring ability and his defense. That right there in itself, you may lose defense from Kawhi, but you gain some kind of defense from DeRozan, and that's all that matters. You gain some of that defense, and I think Coach Pop will mold DeMar DeRozan into the star that we know he can be if he was under the right coaching. So I'm going to say that the Raptors won, but like you said, you can't really tell unless Kawhi decides to stay. And in that case, Kawhi's a much better player than DeMar DeRozan, and he's a much better player than Jakob Poeltl.
Back at 75% because if he played the defense that he played before he left, I mean, that's more than what you can ask for him. He's played 9 games in all last season. So
yeah, exactly.
Of course he's going to have some dust to knock off, but
Popovich
hasn't come back and be an elite defender. That'd be pretty good.
And the thing is, Popovich, he's had stars, but stars, that word is relative, right? Like, you can have a star, but a star like Tim Duncan is not the guy who's going to blow your mind. Like, if you understand what I'm saying, Tim Duncan is more of a traditional basketball player. He plays with the fundamentals. Opposed to a guy like LeBron, you get the splashy plays, or KD, you get the splashy plays or the great scoring outputs. I think Greg Popovich is better off with this team right here this year than he was last year, even with Kawhi playing. You have LaMarcus Aldridge still, one of the top big men in the league as well. You have a young point guard. Nobody talks about this, but DeJounte Murray is a really solid point guard, and I think he has a really bright future under that Greg Popovich system. They have really good pieces there. And I'm so sad. This year's going to be so sad. It was like when the Yankees broke up with Jeter and Pettit and Mariano and Jorge Posada. When they broke up, I started crying. And this year, Manu Ginobili retired, and that kind of broke my heart because when you think about good basketball, you think about those Spurs teams with TP and Tim Duncan and Mr. Fundamental. You know, Mr. Fundamental, Tim Duncan, bro, so underrated ever. Like, he's top 5. If you really think about it, look at numbers, he's top 5 players of all time. Nobody will put him there though. And Manu this last year. So that team is a completely different team. But Popovich, he remains the same, bro. He's such a good coach. And he has such a great basketball mind. And I think that's all you need for the Spurs to be successful. And DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge are just gonna ride that offense.
Yeah. I think LaMarcus Aldridge is a great player, but playing on the Spurs, he doesn't really have to play as an elite scorer, except for last season without Kawhi. But David said we're still a good player.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, I think that he's still up 20. We're still up 21.
Hey, look, it don't matter. The Warriors won the chip that year, man. So that's what matters. And Steph Curry played well, and that's what matters, and that's all that matters. Okay. So when Steph Curry comes to the Knicks and beats the Spurs in the finals, I'm gonna laugh at you so hard, David. But yeah, no doubt.
Knicks, that's crazy.
Hey, bro, we all got dreams, but yeah, no doubt, man.
Your dream was getting Kyrie next season.
That's
another topic. Don't
fuck it up, Ty. Don't fuck it up. Look, we gonna get to all that. We gonna get to all that. But look, we're completely right. Greg Popovich is a great coach, and I think he's gonna take that team to very good places, and I think they exceed a lot of people's expectations. And me personally, I kind of have, I don't want to say it yet because I haven't had time to do my preseason analysis for NBA, but I kind of want to say I got the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals over the Rockets versus the Lakers. That's what I'm gonna say right now. I gotta do mine.
So wait. You don't got the Warriors going on?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot the Lakers. I forgot LeBron is in the West now. Sorry. Oh, my bad. Never mind, David. I try to give you a team a push, bro. But you know, LeBron and Steph, bro, that's different.
I can't, bro. Oh my God.
Tyler says Boston wins the finals. Dude, we all know you're rooting for the Lakers. We all know you think the Lakers is gonna win. Yeah. Look. If the Warriors don't win the finals, I'll cut my arm off and I'll give y'all all $1 million each. So, look.
For real.
He said Boston's gonna win. Look, Boston has a great young team, bro. They don't have nobody the caliber of KD or LeBron. So I'm gonna take what you said with a grain of salt. But I appreciate your input. Like I appreciate everybody's input, and I want to stress again. Me and Tyler do appreciate everybody who's coming to watch the stream from the bottom of our hearts. We realize we're not complete yet. And we're not. You know, we're still gonna have our hiccups, but it's the first 3 streams and we're trying to have fun, you know what I'm saying? That's the most important thing when you start a podcast or a live stream of sports events or anything like that. It's about having fun and just being yourself. And we can try to do that But we appreciate everybody who's coming to stream and has left a comment. It means so much to us.
He said y'all sleep. He said y'all sleep. Yo,
Lakers getting the 17th.
Let's see. Wait, Tyler. We'll get to this conversation if Kyrie's even healthy by playoff time.
Right, exactly. I mean, Kyrie's had injuries. I mean, if you remember that first finals that the Warriors won, I do. Kyrie was injured that whole series. I don't know. Kyrie's kind of an injury-prone player. But I give anything. I'll give my left testicle for Kyrie to come to the Knicks next year. I said it. You know what I'm saying? So, look, I'll do anything. When Steph gets hurt, KD cannot lead the team. He's proven that throughout his career. Okay.
I mean, wait. On that subject, I think KD can still win it. Even if I don't think they're definitely not better. I mean, of course they're going to be better with Curry because Curry.
I'm sorry,
a top 3 point guard in the league.
Y'all must be really sleep because if I'm not mistaken, the Warriors just went out and got a backup plan for any of them to get injured, and that's DeMarcus Cousins. And when he comes back healthy, there's no center in the league better than DeMarcus Cousins. He can score from anywhere on the floor.
But that's if he comes back healthy. I mean, and I think he will. A career-ending injury. I do too. But you always got to have the hesitation because the injury he had.
But look, crazy, but more important, Boogie is there for that reason. So they don't have to play him. They have the how you say that word? They have the bless. I don't know how you say this word. I'm trying to figure out the word to say.
Kendera.
Thank you, Kendera. That means a lot to us. They have the players in place to deal with Boogie being hurt. So they can keep him out until the playoffs. And when Boogie comes back in the playoffs, he's going to be
you said that before.
Yeah, exactly. And when he comes back in the playoffs, a healthy Boogie Cousins, healthy in the playoffs, that's going to be a different story for the league. And I don't think LeBron...
You said that before. My fault. You want to keep going?
No, go ahead.
I was about to say, you said that before, but I doubt with KD's, or not KD, but with Boogie's mentality, I don't think he's going to allow them to keep him out that long. That nigga was talking about coming back before the first game of the season. He was talking about playing the first game of the season. So
if you want to end up like Kobe, he could come back for the first 6 games of the season, but I don't think he does. And I think that DeMarcus, I know he's a competitor.
Oh, he's sending shots, Tyler. I'm just gonna let you know that.
Hey, look, y'all right about Kyrie, but when he plays, he's arguably the best guard in the league. Just imagine Boogie and Russ on the same team. That's not a bad idea. David, but they won't have the cap space for that because they got PG under a max and they got Russ under a max. It won't happen, but that's a good thought.
Unless DeMarcus is trying to take another $5 million.
DeMarcus not going to be in the game because he's going to get...
I don't care. I'll take whatever you try to give him.
DeMarcus not going to be in the game because he's going to get 100 texts. Tyler, I fucking agree, bro. They're going to break the record in the league for most texts. I know you know that. We all know that. Draymond gets about 5 a minute, so he's going to be ejected by the All-Star break. Draymond's going to be ejected for the playoffs. So that's going to be a done deal. So they're going to be lacking DeMarcus and Draymond in them playoffs. Gonna get suspended for.
You two combined have had so many texts. We're gonna let you play all season. You guys aren't playing the playoffs.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you're bench.
LeBron's getting a check today.
Davis says gonna get suspended for a whole 2 seasons. I wouldn't be surprised with the way these two act. Hey, but let me ask you a question. You want to talk about snakes? DeMarcus was just beefing with KD, if I'm not mistaken.
Word. Now they buddies and shit.
Yeah, now they on the same team, got the same goal, right? To get carried by Steph, but it's all good. Like they're gonna have that goal reached. Like they both gonna reach their goal.
David, why you get started with the whole Steph thing, bro? You're not gonna let this go the rest of the stream.
Bro, is Steph not the greatest player to ever touch the hardwood? Hey, Traffic, I don't want you to leave my stream, but last time I checked, Steph is better than Kobe. What'd he say? So let's move on to the next topic.
I don't see nothing wrong with that. You want to move on to the next?
Let's move on to the next topic. Yeah,
I felt like we was getting good right there. All right. Well, the other day LeBron talked about how he thinks the Lakers are gonna play this season, and he did say that they're not ready for the finals yet. Even though you just said they were going to be in the Western Conference Finals, he did just get done saying that they don't have enough pieces yet, and that they're going to work on that.
Well, considering LeBron took his son's team to the finals last year, I'm sure that team is a little better than Bronny's team. So I think they'll get to the Western Conference Finals. But the tough part about LeBron coming to the West, and I think this is why a lot of people feel as if he's given up on winning a chip, is because you're playing against the Warriors every Western Conference Finals. At least when you was playing with the Cavs, you can get to the finals without seeing these guys. Now Steph is going to be haunting his dreams before they even get to the finals.
Agreed, but like, which one's worse? Not getting to the finals every season, or getting to the finals every season and losing to the Warriors?
Getting to the finals every season and losing to the Warriors. At the end of the day, you have the finals on your resume. How many finals Melo been to? That's the answer I like to hear. True. Look, he's been to 0, and same thing with CP. They've been to 0.
But Melo also hasn't been as efficient as LeBron's been. LeBron's been consistently the best player in the year, and best player in the league for the last 10 years.
Exactly.
Like
and if you thought last year was bad in terms of uneven teams in the finals, well, you're gonna be like surprised this year. It's gonna be worse because if Boston doesn't get to the finals, you're gonna see the Warriors versus, I don't know,
the 76ers of Toronto.
McChesney's team.
Damn.
You're gonna see You're gonna see the Warriors versus Tyler Scott and McChesney, and that's not a pretty look because I remember what I did to Tyler Scott and McChesney. But look.
Wait. Weren't you calling him 30?
Yeah.
Tyler, hey, wasn't he calling you 30?
30 turnovers. Yeah, you know how that go. Look. Yeah, you know how that go. Look, but look, bro, it all comes down to LeBron and if his teammates can max out their potential. Brandon Ingram has been in the league for 3 years already. He has to take that next step this year, and if he does and becomes a player we know he can be, that KD-like player, I think the Warriors have a chance, a fighting chance at least, at the very least, against the Warriors. I mean, goddamn, they almost won a game against the Warriors last year, but Henny Smith messed that up for them. But it's all good because this year he don't have no JR. He don't have no JR this year. You're right. He don't have no JR this year to hold him back. He has Alonzo Ball who can make plays. He has a JaVale McGee. I'm sorry, he does have a J.R. Smith on his team. I forgot. But he doesn't affect the game that much. Look, that team is going to be really ready to play the Warriors, and I think that should be a great matchup. And even let's call it how you see it. Look, it's going to be the Warriors versus the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, and I'm going to give the Warriors that series 4-1.
That all depends on the seeding. Where do you think the Lakers are going to end up in the seeding?
The Lakers, I think they're going to end up probably like the 3rd seed.
I'm saying 4th. You're saying 3rd.
I say 3rd.
Somewhere around the 4th.
I think 3rd. I give Houston a 2nd, but I think Houston doesn't have a team. They got older. That's especially critical. They got older, and Melo's not gonna play great. He hasn't seen the postseason since the Antarctica was where New York is at. So I know for a fact that he's not gonna be ready for the postseason. I think that's gonna hold him back a lot, just age-wise. But
I mean, I would say the Thunder, but Russ just had a baby surgery. I mean, it doesn't look like it's really going to affect him much, but it's still a surgery on his knee that he's had multiple surgeries on. So
for sure. So all right, damn, they spam in the chat. Lance Beasley, so yeah, those guys too. Those guys are key pieces, and they may be like, how you say that word? They're not ideal pieces. Michael Beasley, these guys are all what we call head cases in the NBA. But none of them are Gilbert Arenas type head cases where you bring a gun to the locker room. We know. Hey, look, we know.
Crazy.
We know what these guys are capable of. Michael Beasley is. Let me tell you guys. Michael Beasley is one of the most talented scorers in the league. Nobody will ever know that because he hasn't been in the league long enough.
For the Knicks.
Yeah, because he played for the Knicks. Exactly. And every other year he goes win MVP in the Chinese league. So that's why he hasn't been.
You feel me?
Right. So that's why he hasn't been regarded as one of the. So that's why he hasn't been regarded as one of the best scorers in the league. But like last year, he said it in the interview.
Buckets overseas.
Michael Beasley is your favorite player's favorite player, and that's so true. JaVale McGee, I don't want to talk about him. Shaq can have enough to talk about him this year. So, it's going to be great. The Western Conference is going to be so good. Solid role players under the right coach, and Luke Walton isn't that coach. I agree, David. That's something I do agree with.
And that's why they went and got LeBron.
Yep, so now LeBron is the new head coach, and Luke Walton can take a back seat. At least he ain't David Blatt.
He's the assistant coach.
But I wouldn't be surprised if you see Tyronn Lue get fired mid-season and become an assistant coach with the Lakers. Luke Walton should just pack his bags up right there and then. So,
yeah.
Just this Western Conference is going to be so exciting this year. So many quality teams: Oklahoma City, Houston, Minnesota. If they don't trade Jimmy, and it's kind of looking likely like that, they won't trade Jimmy. And I don't think Jimmy's gonna hold out, so that's gonna be a good team. We kind of get the gist of the Western Conference. The Eastern Conference is what's really up for grabs. I think a team could get in with 3 wins in the Eastern Conference, just how bad their talent is.
I mean, now you really disrespecting the East. Like the East does have some. They got Joel Embiid, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, Giannis.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Kawhi.
Joel Embiid look like he stinks, and that's why they're not gonna get nowhere. So, facts.
That's crazy.
So facts. That's what I'm saying. San Antonio will be the 3rd seed, easy.
That nigga gonna go get Wakanda to beat your ass.
If not second. I can see that, Tyler. I kind of see that the way the season is gonna flow already. Like, I think San Antonio will be a really great team, a really improved team from last year. Obviously, they didn't have Kawhi, but they're gonna be a really good team. Davis says I like Boston in 7 over Philly. I like Boston in 4 over Philly. I don't think Philly is that good. I think Ben Simmons not being a shooter is really going to hold them back eventually because Joel Embiid can't do it all by himself. And as you know, in a league where the three-point shot is heavily relied on, we don't know what Markelle Fultz is.
I mean, it just depends on how they perform. I didn't watch the who they play. I think it was who did 76 play in the second round last season? Was it the
they lost? I forgot who they lost to, but they lost really bad. And I think they lost to the
Was it the Celtics?
I think they might have lost to the Celtics.
Yeah, it was the Celtics. It was the Celtics. I mean, I didn't see that series because I was heartbroken that my team lost. So
and they lost that series in 5. So
yeah. So I mean, but like if they can get like, I'm not even gonna say it because the Heat aren't even nearly as good as either one of these teams. So I'm not even gonna bring up what I was gonna say. Never mind.
Well, he was gonna say if Jimmy went to the Heat. They can compete.
I was gonna say last playoff season, the first round, we played the 76ers. They got Darko and let's go. They got Darko and JJ Redick involved in the game a lot. Like,
I think he means Marco,
JJ
but
did I say Marco? What did I say?
You said Darko, and nobody want to be Darko in this age. You know what I'm talking about. Traffic. Davis says, I think there's too much talent in Boston. Honestly, is going to get overcrowded. Yeah. I agree with you. Boston has a lot of youth, but they also have a lot of experience on that team with the Morris twin, with Kyrie. Jaylen Brown is 3 years in. They have a lot of youth, and they have a lot of veteran youth as well. Kyrie is not too old. He hasn't been in the league for too long. He's less than 10 years, and that's really good. And they have the Kings pick. That's very true. Boston is one of the only teams who I know is set to win right now with more draft capital to succeed later. And that's really quality. That's really quality GM work. Danny Ainge should be applauded for that. And let's not talk about the most important thing on Boston is their head coach. Brad Stevens is the second best head coach in the NBA after Mr. Pop, man. But I think Boston gets to the Eastern Conference Finals, and if the seeding is placed right, they'll play the Raptors in there, and I think how the Raptors play. So.
Anyways, buddy, I didn't mean Darko. I meant Dario. Sorry.
Oh, but Dario Saric. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they got him and JJ Redick involved a lot in the first round of the playoffs last season. I don't know how they did against the Celtics.
Because I think they also got Marco Bellinelli, and Marco Bellinelli's a 3-point demon.
Yeah.
The Spurs know that, so. He's a 3-point demon from back there. But, yeah, they got a lot of shooters. But I don't think against that Boston defense, they have a lot of youth on that defense. I don't think that they'll be able to play the same way. And to me, I know a lot of people going to look at me and cringe. I think Ben Simmons is overrated. Somebody who can't shoot. At least LeBron had the body to dunk on people when he was young. Ben Simmons, he has a decent, he has a decent body. I don't see it. It's not like LeBron shit. Like, he has a decent body. You understand what I'm saying?
It's bigger than LeBron. Like, especially as like young LeBron.
But LeBron wasn't like LeBron wasn't dominant like he got like in a way. He wasn't dominant like that from jump. LeBron was finding ways to score when he was younger. Then his body built, and he took care of his body really well, and he still does. And that's why LeBron is still at the top of the league.
But then again, LeBron also had a worse team at that time, so he had to score. I mean. Ben is pass first, and he has the team to where he can pass to.
Exactly.
Who did LeBron have to pass to? I mean,
he had Eric Snow.
By a bunch of shooters.
Hey, he had Eric Snow.
Yeah.
Look, okay, so David Gilbert says Zion Williamson is overrated, and then he said Tyler Scott is overrated. Both very true.
He's gonna be. Who was it that said that? It was
Stephon Marbury. Stephon Marbury said he's gonna be better.
He's gonna be the greatest player of all time.
Hey, and I was waiting for somebody to say it because it's what I've been thinking for the last couple months ever since he's committed to Duke. I've been thinking that. But now let's get serious. On a serious note, if you want to talk about Duke basketball, we'll get into that. R.J. Barrett, the MVP of the FIBA World Basketball Championships a couple years back, the godson of Steve Nash. He is the best player on Duke. Not Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett is. But don't get me wrong, Zion got bungees for days. You feel me? So his athleticism will be key in the college game, and I think that I think it transitions. And if he loses, I think he may have to slim down a little bit just for speed of the game. He won't be able to keep up with the players in the league. But if he slims down a little bit and he keeps that same athletic ability and he looks like he can shoot a little bit in those videos, I think Zion will be just far. And traffic says by far.
Way too many Melo videos.
Appreciate that.
Melo look like he can shoot in videos too.
Zion is flashy. He ain't gonna last. Well, we got Kyrie. Kyrie was flashy going to the same college as Zion, so you just don't know, bro. It can translate different than what you think. I didn't think Kyrie was gonna be really good when he came into the league.
Wow.
I don't know. I can't score that in my park, but this guy scores it here. But I'm getting smoked right now, by the way. But
I was sweating while you were talking about football.
So Zion, I think Zion will eventually translate into the NBA. Kwame Brown has shooting highlights. All right, you got me there, David. I mean, I don't know.
Brown had highlights?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I ain't know he had highlights. I thought he was just a picture of the dumpster.
Yeah,
I know. That was the only highlight I know. Look.
I was talking to him outside when I was taking my trash out.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Oh, every single day I talk to him. But I don't think Zion is going to be a bust. And I think, David, as a Duke fan, you should be excited for Zion this year because I think this is the best time, the best chance we have to win a national championship. And let's not forget, David, we got Tyus Jones' little brother, Trey Jones, as our point guard, number 10 prospect overall in the country and the number 1 point guard in the country. And we also got Cameron Reddish, the number 1 shooting guard in the country. So we have a stacked team along with some veterans who's returning from last year, Javin DeLaurier, Marquise Bolden. So we're going to have a solid team in Duke this year. The Cameron Crazies, we always got them. That's like the 12th man of the college basketball. So it should be a really great college basketball season for the Duke Blue Devils and Coach K. Go Blue Devils. Of course, everyone has his highlights. Tyler Scott. Oh man, everyone does have highlights. Didn't Trey Duval transfer? Nah, Trayvon Duval. He went to the draft and he went undrafted. He's like floating around the league in G leagues now. Big Jack White. Yeah, I love Jack White, man. He's like the mascot behind the mascot on Duke. I love Jack White. He's a good player. Help me out, Alex. What's his name? You help me out, David. Alex O'Connell, really good player. We have another ball handler with him. We're gonna miss Grayson for sure, but he's handling bigger business in Utah. So let's get what's the next topic, Tom?
Well, yeah, I'm about to say, bro. Let's get to the next thing. This is more for you. Porzingis was talking about his return next season. How do you feel about that?
Let's talk.
That's your team.
Let's talk about the Porzingis guy. Recently he just spoke to the media. He says he's not sure if he's gonna be ready for the 2018 season, and I doubt that he's going to be ready at all this season. I think they should sit him this whole season in hopes that we can pull a max contract player next year and match him with Porzingis and Kevin Knox. But I think the most important thing to know about Porzingis is that he is a star, regardless of how anybody feels. Last year, before he got injured, he was scoring 30 almost every single night. He played well. One critique I have of Porzingis is his body weight, and that's the only critique anybody has of him. He's not big enough to guard the LaMarcus Aldridges or the DeAndre Aytons now of the league, or the Marvin Bagley Jr.'s of the league. These guys are big body players, traditional centers I like to call them. And so I think Porzingis has to bulk up before he comes back, and even more so bulk up because as you've seen the Kevin Ware injury when he broke his leg, when you don't have enough meat down there and you land it on your leg every so often, it's not really good for your bones. I think Porzingis needs to hit the gym, and he'll come back a very great player. I love him, man. I hope he comes back well and he doesn't re-injure that. It's a tough injury, but he's going to be back. David Gilbert says Don and Grayson are going to go crazy this year. Oh, that's a fact, bro. That's a fact. That's ACC all throughout right there. Donovan Mitchell and Grayson Allen are going to be crazy this year, bro. Athletic. Grayson Allen can shoot the 3-ball really well. A lot of people doubted that he can make it in the NBA. I doubt those people. Grayson Allen is a great basketball player. He's always been.
I doubt those people. I mean, I want to see specifically Donovan Mitchell. I want to see his sophomore season. That'd be great.
Oh yeah, Donovan Mitchell's gonna.
Yeah.
Yep, Donovan Mitchell's the little Wade. You know that. You know how D Wade played when he was younger, man. Always so reliable, always so athletic, and dunk on anybody. Donovan Mitchell has that kind of ability, and he has the smarts. He has the IQ. And generally, what you want to see out of your franchise, and he's now the franchise player of the Jazz, is how good of a person he is. And Donovan Mitchell is a good person. You can tell. He's always doing for the public. He's always supporting everybody. Not only his city, not only Portland, but he's always supporting everybody throughout the sports. And that's what you want to see. That's kind of the LeBron James traits. So that's really good to see. And the Jazz have a great team. Like and that's a very underrated team, I should say. Rudy Gobert, Joe Ingles. They have a really good team. Joe Ingles shut down PG last year in the playoffs. I like to remind people.
See how many of these I can get.
Yeah, okay. DeAndre Ayton is a god. So I mean,
word.
I can't even get a layup. Ben saying Mitchell was the next Wade. That's true. Traffic has been saying that. D Wade had this kind of leap that you don't see until he does it. You know what I'm saying? You can see highlights all day, but he had this kind of leap in game with the adrenaline rushing that you don't see. And I think Donovan Mitchell has that same kind of potential. Except I think Donovan Mitchell could shoot the ball better than Wade. Not saying that he will be better than Wade, Tyler. Don't fight me. But I'm saying.
Nah, I agree. Like Dwayne Wade's never been really a shooter.
Exactly.
I mean, he's gained a small jump shot. He's a good mid-range shooter, but that's about it. He's been more of an elusive finisher and an aggressive finisher, if anything.
Exactly. Davis says the playoffs shut down PG. Look, PG didn't play really well, and I think it was a testament.
Oh shit, he's within 4.
I think I am. I wasn't even looking at the score, but I think the playoffs you did see some bad parts of PG, but I don't think that will repeat itself. PG he's played well in playoffs in the past when he was with the Pacers. I think PG bounces back.
No. I've had this debate with Tyler multiple times. He did not have a bad playoff performance. I'm not about to go back and look at the stats, but he had multiple games in that first round where they lost, but it wasn't his fault.
Well, as Traffic _23 says, nigga had one good game, and I very much so agree with that. PG didn't have a really great playoffs. But
you know what all y'all can do, right?
Yeah, I know, but hey, it's alright. You get over it. When D Wade tears ACL for his farewell season, I'm not wishing that on nobody. All jokes aside.
You know what? Where's my computer?
Stats aren't everything. Stats, and that's true, Tyler. And that's true, and that's why you see Golden State producing at the way they do. They all put up big numbers, but let's say one doesn't, they're okay with that kind of change. They know what it is. How'd you get to 93 so fast? They know what it is. They know what it is. They know what it is to take a back seat and for the betterment of the team. And I think only few teams in the league got those. The Spurs and the Warriors being one of those, two of those teams. So if Andre Robertson plays, that changes the whole series. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Andre Robertson's a great defender, but it doesn't change that series. It may give PG more time to rest, but that's the only thing. That's the only thing I can see. Tyler says you busting my ass. Yo, this man's a GOAT in 2K. I don't know what the word to say. When you were talking about football, I was going crazy. Hey, that man's, I don't know. It wasn't that. He's a GOAT. He's a GOAT. He's a GOAT in 2K. So what's our next topic, Ty?
Let's get into the next one. Let's talk about Tristan Thompson making bold statements saying that the Cavs are still on top of the East. Wait. Before we get into talking about it, I want to read some of the comments that 76ers players made. Let me find this real fast. Oh my god. It was hilarious if you ask me. Alright. So first, Joel Embiid said, LMAO, boy if you don't.
Enough said.
Ben Simmons said, okay, buddy, see you soon. And then there was someone else that made a statement. Let me find it. Marcus Morris said, cut it out. Get that vacation ready early this year, fam. Ain't shit going through the Cavs this year. # facts.
All right, boom.
I agree with all of them.
Hey, what they wrote, I was thinking. Man. Look, Tristan Thompson is in no position to say the Cavs are the team to beat. Nobody on that team is in any position to say anything, really. LeBron James.
Has he even beaten his cheating scandals?
LeBron James will carry the Cavs on the Lakers this year. That's how bad they are. So I want to. LeBron James' jersey is the best player on the Cavaliers right now. I kid you not. So, but let's get real. I've seen Traffic and I've seen David Gilbert. They said Kevin Love is gonna have a big year, and if the Cavaliers want to continue to have success throughout the NBA season in the Eastern Conference, they're gonna need Kevin Love to play big, play how he played in his Minnesota years.
It's not even that. Okay. Because like you just said, when he was playing in Minnesota, he was playing big, and they didn't go anywhere with that. I mean, if they're going to need more than Kevin Love to play big, they're going to need JR, Jordan Clarkson, Tristan Thompson, everybody to play.
They need everybody. Look, need. As long as JR knows the time in the game, bro, they should be good this year. But let's get real, bro. Let's get real, bro. Kevin Love had a chance to play with Steph Curry early on in his career. And the Minnesota Timberwolves passed up on Steph Curry for Sebastian Telfair, and I think it was another point guard. Who was it? Oh, Rubio. It was Rubio.
Sexton do good this season too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Colin Sexton steps up this season.
Oh man, Sexton is a monster, bro. He has that Kobe mentality. You can see that. So, you know, I don't think they're gonna be trash, and I honestly would give them a spot in the playoffs because the East is so bad this year. I honestly would give them a spot in the playoffs, but. You know, I would like to stress that they're nowhere near the team they were when LeBron. I don't even think it needs to be Johnny Flynn and Rubio. Thank you, Tyler, for correcting me. Johnny Flynn and Rubio. They took both of those point guards, 2 point guards, by the way. That's stupid, but they took both of those point guards over Steph Curry as if this was some kind of spite to Steph Curry. Why would you pick that color jersey, Tyler? Why would you pick that color jersey? Look, but look, the Cavs are going to be nowhere near they were, nowhere near where they were with LeBron James, and that's the obvious.
And I think with Colin Sexton and Kevin Love, they still make the playoffs because, like we said earlier, it's the East, and you can win 3 games to make the playoffs. But
so they ain't worse than the Knicks, but they're worse than a lot of other teams.
They'll get like a 6, 7, 8 seed down there with the Wizards and Miami.
Yeah.
I still think Miami can still make playoffs.
No, I think Miami will be a top 5 seed. I think Miami will be a top 5 seed.
Top 5.
The East is really that bad.
Comes back.
The East is really that. And David said it right there. The East is going to have 3 teams with losing records in the play. I agree. Like, bro, the East is really that bad. Yeah. And I think that the Miami Heat, in fact, are one of the better teams in the East that you can actually rely on that make the playoffs without a losing record. So, I truly see the Heat doing well, and I see the Cavaliers getting like maybe the 6th, 7th, 8th spot.
Yeah.
You know, so
we're changing jerseys, Chief.
Yeah, go ahead. They're on the same level as Charlotte to me. You talking about the Cavs or the Heat? I'm sure he's talking about the Cavs.
What did he say?
He said they're on the same level as Charlotte to me. The Wizards would be better if John stays healthy. I like that.
Yeah, if John Wall stays healthy, yeah, they'll definitely be. I'd say they'll be 5th seed because I look at it like this. There's still teams with Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is definitely he can carry the team like he's in the East. He can carry the team to a top seed. Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, Kyrie, and it's still debatable on if Kawhi comes back. If Kawhi comes back, Toronto's still a top.
So you name the Wizards. The Wizards are gonna be good this year. Yeah, you're right. I did forget about the Wizards. But the Heat, it's not like the Heat are overly worse than these teams. It's that they're missing that one player.
He gets the 6th seed, and then the Cavs will get like the 7th, and then the 8th is really a toss-up.
Yeah, anybody can get it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Nets get it. Come on, I'm joking, guys. Chill. But the Knicks are gonna get that spot. You know who's gonna get that 8th seed. So look,
it's not impossible. It depends on if Porzingis was to come back and he came back early, like I'm not saying it's smart for him to do that. Hopefully he doesn't do that on some dumb shit. But if he was to come back, you never know.
David Gilbert says John Wall is overrated and he's a better Russ.
Oh, you know who we forgot about? We forgot about Pacers. Yeah, the Pacers are nasty.
Who they got in their team?
Chicago could definitely. Those are the 2 teams that could definitely fight for that 8th spot.
Oh yeah, the Pacers.
I feel like the Pacers will definitely get like a. Yeah, that bumps the Heat down. Pacers are definitely gonna get like.
No. But Tyler makes a good point about the Heat. He says they're like the Grizzlies from a few years back. I remember that team with Tony Allen, Mike Conley was still healthy, Marc Gasol rather. These guys play great defense. Yeah, they play great defense. They play with grit. That's what Tyler said. So great comment, bro. Like that's a great point. The Grizzlies a couple years ago, you can always depend on for them to push teams deep in the playoffs. You know how that went, and they beat the Spurs one year. God dang, bro. So. I think the Heat are going to be a very underrated team this year, and I think defense gets them into at least the 5th seed. At most the 5th seed, sorry.
I mean, the thing about the Heat is that they don't really have any. They have young players, but like none of the young players are getting a lot of like the main young player I like to look at is Josh Richardson. Or what's his name? Yeah, Josh Richardson. I mean, he
young
played
athletic guy.
tremendous defense. Yeah, he had. I think he broke the record last against the 76ers for the most steals in a playoff game.
Yes.
So it's about hustling defense for this team.
That's what it meant. And it's not like when LeBron was there, they had bad defense. Eric Spoelstra, that's what he demands. He demands great defense, and that's the kind of coach you need.
Yeah.
And not to segue into my team, but David Gilbert, before I get to that, David Gilbert says, don't even bring up that one series where the Grizzlies beat the Spurs, and then he says some profanity, and he knows that feeling is reciprocated. A better Russ? Sheesh. You tell me, alright, so here's my only debate against these people in the comments. You tell me how John Wall's a better Russ if Russ is averaging better numbers than John Wall. And you can't say it's not about numbers because they're the same type of player, except Russ shoots better than John Wall. So, I mean, Russ even has an aspect of his game better than John Wall. So, I don't know. I give that to Russ. I don't like Russ. I don't like his game. I don't like John Wall's game very much, but I think John Wall's speed is such a weapon to use for the Wizards. And that could be key this year.
John Wall, like Tyler said, it was Tyler that said he has to stay healthy, correct?
Yeah.
Tyler who said that?
He said, Tyler said he has to stay healthy.
That. I mean, that's honestly the truth because just 2 seasons ago when it was the Celtics and the Wizards, I mean, the Wizards ended up losing that series to the Celtics because of IT, and IT had an amazing season that season.
Yeah.
But he put up a 40-point game. He was trading buckets with IT.
No,
he's
not
a primary scorer. He's a pass-first player.
I hear you. John Wall
is do it. It's just staying healthy.
Absolutely. John Wall's problem has been health in his past, but John Wall's problem has been also the ability never to correct the one weakness in his game, which is shooting. As a player, like LeBron has done. See, now people used to look at LeBron and say, in the argument versus Jordan, oh, he can't shoot, but now LeBron can shoot. And not only can he shoot, but he's actually become a threat from 3. And that's the kind of progress you want to see from John Wall coming up. And that's the kind of progress you want to see from a lot of these players who can't shoot.
John Wall he's a very elite player at every other aspect of the game. Like, he's an elite defender for the point guard position.
Almost definitely.
He's an elite. He's an elite finisher. He has the speed. He's an elite passer. He has the IQ. It's literally, if he just gets that jump shot down, it'd be nasty.
Well, Tyler wants to know our expectations for Portland. I mean, Ty Wilk, you already know what it is with Portland. Portland has Dame and CJ, and really nothing after Dame and CJ. So, and this is why I think Portland is a first-round team.
No, this is my thing. I think Portland's going to be underrated going into this playoffs for the simple fact that they just got 4-0'd by the Pelicans without DeMarcus. I think like Dame is still he's a top. I'm not going to say elite because of the playoff run, but he is an elite player in this league offensively. Offensively, he's an elite player. Yeah. I mean, him and CJ both. CJ can go bucket for bucket with anyone.
Yeah, for real. That's for real.
I mean, if I had to compare them to anyone, it would be John Wall and Bradley Beal. Me personally, I think John Wall and Bradley Beal are better.
But I think what they have that the Portland don't have is defense. And the thing about Portland is they made a big move without making a big move this offseason. They re-signed Jusuf Nurkic. Jusuf Nurkic is a big part of that Portland offense and defense for that matter as a rim protector. I mean, he almost died last year when LeBron dunked on him. But putting that aside, he's a really great player, and he's a really good player. Sorry, and Dame and CJ, those are really great players. I just don't see the talent where they get past a lot of those upper echelon teams in the West. Yeah, so
because I'm looking like seeing that LeBron moved over to the West. I mean, that pushes a lot of things. I mean, Tyler, I kind of agree with him. Like Tyler even thinks that the Thunder are going to play better this season. They'll get a higher seeding. I feel like Portland makes the playoffs, but they're going to be a 6, 7, 8 seed.
Like they usually are.
When they're gonna play against the Warriors. They're gonna play against maybe the Lakers or even
and you know how
the Spurs or Houston, and those are good defensive teams. So
and you know how good the Western Conference is when the last game of the season you're still trying to decide the 5th, the 4th, the 6th. And
the last few games for Western Conference that shit changed dramatically because the Jazz were. I think they were they 3rd seed or they were 3rd seed and then they dropped or something. I can't remember what. Like that was a big fuck fest right there.
Well, let me get to David's question. It's something I wanted to talk about for a while now. I just haven't really had the time to talk about it.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Man, this fight is gonna be legendary. It's in October. I think the 1st week of October, 2nd week of October. I gotta find out the date. I'm definitely watching the fight. Conor versus Khabib, bro, and this is a fight that I'm really concerned about. I'm a big Conor McGregor fan since jump, and this is a fight I'm really concerned about for Conor McGregor. Khabib is a ground and pound monster, and not like he's not a submission threat. It's not like he's a submission threat. He's more of a I'm gonna beat you up and keep you on the ground all fight. Kind of a boring style of fighting, but to me I love that style of fighting because it shows real skill. However, just like in the Floyd fight, if Conor catches him with a left, and this is against anybody, if Conor catches anybody with that left hand punch, it is over. And so you have to be wary if you're Khabib, and you have to be. But Conor's ground defense is not that bad, and I think he works on that a lot. So you already know who I'm picking, David. I'm picking Conor to get that left. He's found a way to do it in every single fight in the UFC he's fought, except for the Nate fight, and he avenged that loss. I'm going Conor in that fight. And how you pronounce that name? Nurmagomedov. And the reason why I know that is because I've been watching UFC a long time, and him and his brother used to get in the beef with the Diaz brothers all the time, so I used to watch it a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna go Conor. You already know how we rock on this side. We team McGregor all the way. You know what I'm saying? That's it, man. That's all I gotta say about that right there. So Tyler, get back to the next topic.
Oh, you want to get to the next one?
Yeah.
All right, we're closing in on our topics now. Right now, we're down to our last two. Let's talk about two players that have high expectations of getting moved in the next season, or this offseason or next offseason. First, we're going to start with Jimmy Butler. Okay. I know Jimmy Butler, they were talking to Houston the Timberwolves were talking to Houston, they were talking to Miami, and I know they offered a trade to the 76ers, Jimmy for Ben Simmons, and that got declined.
So, that's stupid. That's so stupid. That is a stupid trade. Like, I think Ben Simmons is overrated, but you can be overrated because of how high somebody rates you, not because you're just a bad player. He's still great.
This is his second season, whatever you want to call it. He's still young. He's only going to get better.
Exactly. So you like overrated to me means like they put Ben Simmons on this high LeBron level, and to me, I think Ben Simmons is lower than that. I think Ben Simmons is a great talent. He's just not great yet, and I think that's a process to wait on. But Jimmy Butler for Ben Simmons is not even equal. Ben Simmons is younger than Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler has a lot of talent.
Way more potential.
Exactly, way more potential. The potential for increase in his ceiling is really high. Just they think his ceiling has come already, and it hasn't. I think that I think Tyler said it. Traffic said it. Jimmy got to go to a team that's random, not a team that you're hearing out now. And I think a team that we were talking about earlier is kind of that's kind of like in the shadow with Jimmy Butler trade talk, and that's Portland. I think if Minnesota can find a way to make a trade with Portland without Portland having to give up Dame or CJ, or even giving up CJ, I like Jimmy Butler in that position a lot more than CJ, because Jimmy Butler has a lot of defense potential that he can play with on that side. So I think that they should try to explore a trade with Portland. I think that would be a better option.
I still would love Jimmy Butler to come to Miami. That'd be a great trade. I mean, as long as, like we said before, as long as we don't got to give up a lot of pieces, I don't think any team should give up any big pieces. Don't make this a Kawhi trade. That's one big thing. Don't make it a Kawhi trade. Don't give up your best player on your team for him, because it's just not worth it. Yeah, that was a great pass.
I know.
But it's just not worth it. I mean, Kawhi, like you said, he might not even come back there next season, and it could be the same thing with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler. There's been rumors of him and Kyrie teaming up and going to the Knicks. So God forbid that happens, and you trade your best player on your team, then you're kind of out of luck now. Now you're in a full rebuild. It's just not worth it.
If the Knicks trade for Jimmy Butler, we'll still have the max contract space to go get Kyrie. So if I'd urge the Knicks to trade for Jimmy Butler just for a splash move. It may not be the smartest thing to do.
For your team, that would help. I mean, that would help because that'd get half of the job done for that dream to happen for y'all.
David, I actually
want those two.
Mm-hmm. And David, I actually seen that Kyrie shut down those rumors. He says he wants to see his jersey up in those Boston rafters. And I've heard Kawhi say a couple years ago that he can't imagine playing for anybody else but the Spurs. And now he's a Raptor. You know, people's thoughts change. And people's thoughts change, but I kind of feel like Kyrie will come to the Knicks next year. He's from New Jersey. He went to the Patty school. You know, I know a lot of great basketball players that went to St. Patrick High School, and I think that just because of the proximity to home and where he's from, and Diedrich Irving, you know, his father, they're from the New York area, so I think he's gonna come back to New York next year. I hope he does because Kyrie's a talent and a really good one, and for the Knicks, he can be the franchise with Porzingis and Kevin Knox and Jimmy Butler. Hopefully that does happen.
That would definitely be a dream team. I feel like that might be, y'all might be able to, if that happens, y'all might be able to give the Warriors a run for their money.
Nah, come on, don't
especially
be
seeing
D-Rose
who they keep.
Don't be D-Rose now. D-Rose can't be a super team.
But like it depends. It depends on who they keep. Like it depends on if they, because like we already talked about, the Warriors aren't keeping the whole team together next season. It's literally impossible. So if y'all get that dream team to happen next season, and they lose Klay Thompson or they lose KD, you guys can easily beat them. I mean, unless KD goes to the Lakers, like you said, then that's an easy win. I think the Knicks will definitely be the best team in the league.
Right, David Gilbert says, I just don't see Kyrie leaving the talent, coaching, and everything. And
I mean, he left LeBron.
I can see where you're coming from, David. I really do. And just because of my optimism and wanting him to come to the Knicks, that's why I say he's going to come to the Knicks. But if you want to talk about perfect situation, Boston is the perfect situation. And for every free agent who's going to be a free agent this upcoming season, they should consider going to Boston. Boston is a well-coached team. It doesn't revolve around one player. It revolves around the team effort and defense. That's important. Defense. He almost ended my career.
But defense.
But defense is important in that Boston offense, or in that Boston team, for that Boston team, and their offense is really good. However, Kawhi and Kyrie are different for two different things, and this goes back to David's comment where he says Kawhi is a snake. Kyrie is his own person. That's why he left Cavaliers in the first place. You know, Kawhi has people in his ear telling him what to do, where to play, and that's never okay, especially for a grown man. Like KD had people in his ear. That's why he went to Golden State. You know, it should be no reason why you let the Warriors talk you into going to the best team.
Manipulate
exactly. And Draymond was doing that from jumping beginning of that season, his last season in OKC. I don't think the same will happen with Kyrie. I think if Kyrie feels the need to leave Boston and go home to New York in the New Jersey area, he will do it. And if he feels that being in Boston is his best option, he will do it. But what we can bet on right now is that Kyrie doesn't have nobody like Kawhi's uncle, like you said, David, in his ear talking to him and saying, look, New York is a bigger market than Boston. Go. They're both big markets, and it's just going to come down if he wants to be closer to home. But shoot, Boston is a 2-hour drive from up here, so it's not that far. You know what I'm saying? So I think probability is that he stays with Boston, but if he does leave, I'm going to give the Knicks the best chances to land him. And that's that. Who's the next guy who's becoming a free agent?
It was Kyrie.
Oh, it's Kyrie. So we covered that topic. So, hey, look, these guys, this basketball season should be fun. It should be fun.
Yo, fuck this big ass bitch. My fault for the profanity, but
hey man, it's all good, bro. It's all good. It's Uncensored Sports. This is how we like to keep it. I
won't play no more.
Hey, look, it's alright, bro. It happens. Look, before we start ranting about another topic, you know, I want to thank everybody who's joined the stream. We're an hour 30 minutes in. We got 30 minutes left. Man.
Yo, I'm done. I don't want to play.
We got 30 minutes left. So what matters is you guys coming out here and supporting us. We're
Village, Tyler, David, Kendera,
whoever else watched. And it's not the only time to watch this. This will be on our channel right after we finish going live. So you can go watch back. Tell us what we can do differently. And even David and Tyler, you guys are some of our best friends. Tell us what we can do differently in our streams so we can be better the next time. And while you guys are watching, look, we're trying to be ourselves. You know, we don't want to put too much pressure on ourselves to be rocks, but we want to give you guys some kind of personality, and that's our personality. And I wish you guys can see it when we're not streaming, because we're like hilarious, bro. Like me, Tyler, Ty Scott, we're like David. We're all so hilarious when we're together, and that's the kind of energy we want to give to you guys. So like I said, we appreciate from the bottom of our heart, and we're eternally grateful for you coming into the stream and watching this. David, you can't say that in stream. You can't just say stuff like that, right?
I'm scared to see what he said now. Hold on.
You can't say stuff like that, David. You see
it? Oh, that's hard, David. Please don't.
So Ty Scott and David are gonna make a channel, and They're gonna call it something crazy, and that's good, guys, because we'll watch yours just like you watched us. We'll support you guys just like you supported us. But let's get. Matter of fact, I want to hear what you guys think. Start asking some questions in the comments for the last 30 minutes.
What's the topic y'all want to talk about?
Exactly. Start asking questions.
Specifically, y'all.
Exactly. Yep. Specifically, you guys, because you guys are crazy souls. I want to see what y'all gonna say. I'm gonna say some crazy stuff, some hot takes, just anything that can give a discussion.
Wait, Brady. You still want to talk about that golf situation?
Oh yeah, the Ryder Cup.
Time to do it.
The Ryder Cup. Last time I checked the updates on the Ryder Cup, Tiger Woods had just he hit a putt into the water. I mean, like I'm sure, David. I've been seeing you golfing a lot, David. I don't know who you become, but football's not your sport anymore. So I haven't been keeping up with the Ryder Cup that much, but I want to talk about Tiger and his latest win. That's good for sports. Simple, and I want to put it and I want to put it out there. Tiger Woods winning another major is good for sports. And
yeah, I put on stream.
Your boy hits drives like Dustin Johnson. I'm happy to hear that. Shoot, bro, we're gonna go to the country club one of these days. We're gonna hit some of them putts. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna hit the green. Do our thing. Tyler says thoughts on the Chargers.
I mean, I feel like y'all would have. They had a good chance to get somewhere. I feel like if y'all didn't deal with all these injuries that happened off the field, literally, like not off the field, but like not in game.
No, they lost. They lost.
You guys
Jason
had a good
Verrett,
chance.
Their best corner.
Yeah, they had a good chance of going somewhere actually in the postseason and making Phillip Rivers look good this season.
I agree. Phillip Rivers is a great quarterback, and I think that's kind of understated by a lot of the NFL. He's a great quarterback, and he's played really well throughout regular season. One of the best regular season quarterbacks, as Tyler Wilk always says. But what you guys are lacking is consistency in terms of injuries. A lot of your players get injured repeatedly. Same thing with Keenan Allen. Same thing with Jason Verrett. This year, you got a healthy offense. Melvin Gordon looks to break out again like he did last year. I hope that you guys can go deep.
I just feel like y'all the pieces you guys lost defensively, it's gonna hurt y'all down the stretch.
Is Rivers the best QB to never win a ring? No, Dan Marino's the best QB to never win a ring, but Phillip Rivers is very close. Very, very close. Every season. You're right, Tyler. I know. Trust me, I know the frustration because I'm a fan of a team that does bad every single season. But the difference
at least y'all had an actual starting quarterback in the last 2 fucking seasons, all right? Both of y'all, all 3 of y'all actually. I don't care how good yours was, Brett. I don't care. Y'all had starting quarterbacks.
Hey, look. Tyler's just mad that his quarterback went skiing one day and never came back. But it's all good because the Colts got Andrew Luck back now, and that kind of mind that Andrew Luck got paired with his talent, he's
we want to bust Tom Brady ass next Thursday, y'all.
All right, but he's chatting right now. He's chatting right now.
Definitely be back there next Friday when we come back with the same exact stream. I'm gonna be talking about shit.
He's chatting right now, bro. They're not winning. I'm telling you.
If we lose, I'm not coming out. Brett, you doing the solo that week. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Right, I hear you, but I can't do it without you. I can't do it. You need to be here, son. So what y'all gotta say? Pats versus Dolphins. Pats, bro. The Dolphins are overrated, bro. Let me tell you that. Dolphins are overrated. If Luck plays better, if Luck plays better than Brady, I'll donate $10. Shit.
By the way, Tyler, I got Dolphins in that because the Patriots defense is just playing like ass, and they let Blake. Like who the hell? You gonna let someone named Blake run over y'all?
Hey, I don't know. Blake Bortles is elite. The Dolphins are overrated. Thank you, David Gilbert. I appreciate that.
I'm not saying they're not. But they let someone named Blake win a game over them. That's all I'm saying.
Bro, the Patriots let somebody named Geno win a game over them, and they won the Super Bowl that year, I believe. So I don't want to hear nothing. Like I don't want to hear nothing. What you got to say?
Hey,
we did twice. That's true. Very true.
We'll be back on Monday to talk about it. That's all I got to say.
Oh, hey, look, we're gonna be back on Monday to talk about how overrated we knew the Dolphins were. They're very overrated.
I'm not disagreeing with you. You're acting like I'm disagreeing. I'm agreeing. Who are the Dolphins?
Kenyon Drake, nice though. I agree. Kenyon Drake is so fast, bro, and he got kind of that breakaway speed that you need.
Whoa. Jeez, Tyler, why are they explicit comments? Like, well, jeez.
Kenyon Drake?
You feel that way? No, the one before that. his comment before that one.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Tyler's not a fan of the Dolphins, I'm guessing. You don't like them too much.
Someone doesn't like the Dolphins. Jeez.
But Kenyon Drake is nice, and I agree. And I think that Adam Gase simplified the offense for Ryan Tannehill to succeed this year. They have a bunch of deep threats, and Kenny Stills leads that pack. He's so good deep, and he's faster than a lot of quarterbacks in the league. Bro, you can swear, bro. We're just playing with you guys. You just sound mad, bro. So, I just think the Dolphins they're not really. I think Ryan Tannehill will come back down to earth eventually. He's not really that good. I promise you. Like, we even lost to them this year, and after that game, I was gonna go do a couple things, but I realized I have a family, so I didn't do it. But
yo, I'm gonna call the helpline right now. I'll be right back, yo.
I don't know, I mean, out of my mind. I don't know, out of my mind. I feel like my life.
Start talking to him. I didn't know football was this serious, guys, until I met this young man.
Yo, crap. Bro, Tyler was on the phone with me when I was watching Ben is Underrated. What Ben? Are you talking about your own Ben? Are you talking about your own Ben,
bro?
Ben is not overrated.
How is it? If you're talking about Ben Roethlisberger, how was he underrated?
Simple. He's not. We
just gave him credit for icing. I mean, he finished the game last year.
Yeah, exactly. Big Ben is everything but underrated. Big Ben is everything but underrated. Big Ben play, like I said, you can't stress this enough. He plays big, and he always plays up to the moment. His arm is a cannon.
Yeah.
He has receivers all around the place. He has a running back who's currently holding out, but he has another one who fought cancer, who knows how to beat big defenses, who knows how to beat challenges in his life. I think that team is going to come back to its true form. I truly think if we put AB on another team, those numbers drop.
It depends on the team, though.
I want to end the stream. Oh, you're talking about for Big Ben? Oh, I thought you were talking about for AB. I was about to say, this is why he was going to leave you out the first time. The chemistry those two have is crazy. It is crazy, bro. And to be honest with you, I can't really sit here off the top of my head and think of a better quarterback wide receiver duo in the league. AB is one of the best route runners, and he's one of the best at high pointing the ball and catching it in the air. He can catch the ball over a lot of receivers. Better than Larry, not just yet. In the league right now, yes, he's better than Larry Fitzgerald. All time, no, he's not. Larry Fitzgerald is the god.
Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald's a little older now. That's why, though.
Yeah. But no doubt. Yeah, AB is he's the best receiver in the league right now, in my opinion. And he has better. I agree, he does have better hands than Randy. And not a lot of people have that take, but he does have better hands than Randy. I think AB is one of the most talented receivers we've ever seen. Not just right now. He's one of the most talented receivers we've ever seen. And he's so good at high pointing the ball and catching the ball over receivers. That's why he's such a threat. Fitzgerald gets no credit. Odell overrated. Traffic. Fitzgerald has played with Carson Palmer, Drew Stanton. Who else he's played with? His best quarterback was Kirk Cousins. Kurt Warner. His best quarterback was Kurt Warner. You tell me if Fitzgerald should get no credit. Oh, you're saying that he don't get no credit. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he doesn't. That's very true. Odell overrated. No, he's not. One of the best receivers. Julio overrated. He's not. Those three right there, AB, Julio, Odell, in any order you want to put them, as the top three best receivers in the league. His longevity is amazing. Larry Fitzgerald has defined how it is to be a great athlete and a great person.
This is the 16th season, right? Am I wrong on that? I think. What season is this?
He's been in the league pretty long. Yeah, and Fitzgerald, bro, he's just such a good guy, bro. He does so much for his community.
I really want to go see this now.
And on top of that, he's just such a great player. He's always reliable. Odell was definitely not overrated. Baby, he's not overrated. He's not overrated. I tell you that. AJ Green is underrated.
Oh no, this is his 15th season.
Yeah, I think
but
AJ
still,
Green
that's
is
a
underrated.
long time.
Yeah. AJ Green is underrated. He is underrated because in large part due to Andy Dalton's play over the last 2 years, and this year is kind of getting back to that right form. AJ Green is a great receiver with a great quarterback. He'll be elite. I'll give you that. He is. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. I mean, as the time winds down,
fighting.
Yeah, Odell, she's a big Giants fan. Kendra Brown's a big Giants fan. Marvin Lewis needs to be fired. Bro, David Gilbert, he should have been fired 10 years ago. But Marvin Lewis, he's found a way this year to get his team off to a good start, and I guess that's something. But no playoffs this year, he's gone, and I don't see it being any other way. Marvin Lewis he should have been fired a couple seasons back. Traffic says facts. I appreciate that, bro. Means a lot to me. Bro, this stream has been successful today. I just want to, man, I can't thank you guys enough.
Yeah, this is definitely our most successful stream so far. Thank you guys for coming out. Especially being y'all two. If anyone like y'all are definitely the two that we expected. Because we were talking about before Like, if there was anyone that was talking to us and shouting out the stream, it was you two and also Amos.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, you guys have been supporting us heavy off streaming. You guys
besides
have been.
Kendera and Ceez.
Yes. Kendera and Ceez have been going crazy for us, and Tyler Scott, bro. I gotta say, bro, I won't put the message out there, but your message to me last night, it touched my heart, bro. It made me shed a tear, bro, because that means a lot coming from somebody as real as you. And I know you for a while now. You're one of the realest people I know. You're one of the truly good guys I know. And David, bro, you've been one of my boys, one of my best friends since our senior year in high school, bro. We were supposed to room at OCC together, bro. So I appreciate y'all, and I knew it's only fitting that you guys are the ones supporting us, like from jump and sharing our stuff. And I want to just say I love you guys from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure Tyler feels the same way.
Same.
Traffic says Casey has a good start every year, just to lose in the wild card.
Yeah,
Casey doesn't have
I was
Alex
thinking
Smith,
it. So. I just didn't want to say it, Tyler. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was thinking it, I didn't want to say it.
Casey doesn't have Alex Smith anymore. They have a reliable quarterback who could throw the ball downfield, so much more better than Alex Smith can. Alex Smith,
and that's why I just can't That's why I can't wait until week 6. No, week 5. Week 5 for them because they play.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good. They play the
Jaguars.
Rams. Oh, the Jaguars?
No, they play Jaguars. They play Jaguars.
Okay. They play the Jaguars. Well, David Gilbert says because Andy Reid and Alex Smith were a bad match. And Alex Smith, he relied on the short ball way too much, and Doug Peterson used to call a lot of those short pass plays when he was the OC in KC. So I do think Alex Smith is more of an intermediate short throw passer, but Patrick Mahomes can throw the ball anywhere in any position of his body, and that's what's so key. Reliable has been 4 games. Patrick Mahomes is more of a reliable option than Alex Smith, and I'm going to say that because he can throw, like I said, he can throw the ball from any position. Off his back foot, he can throw the ball 50 yards, and that's so impressive, and you don't really see that with quarterbacks. We don't give John Dorsey enough credit. John Dorsey was the guy who made the Patrick Mahomes, who drafted Patrick Mahomes and traded up to get Patrick Mahomes, and he also drafted Baker Mayfield #1. John Dorsey has made a lot of big moves in his career. He was also on that Green Bay. I believe he was on that Green Bay management when they drafted Aaron Rodgers, if I'm not mistaken. But John Dorsey he deserves a lot of credit as a GM. He's a really good GM, and I think he's very underrated. And I think that Baker pick was a good pick. You know, Baker's 24 years old. He's had more experience in college than every single rookie quarterback this year. Maybe that's why they drafted him. And he has that edge. He has that chip on his shoulder, and that bodes well for a team that really hasn't had confidence in the last couple years, especially coming off 0-16 season. So Baker's not the best QB. He's not the best QB, but he's the most experienced QB. And as you've seen on Thursday, he really has a tendency to make great anticipatory throws. He knows when to throw the ball when the receiver hasn't cut on his route yet, or he knows how to throw back shoulder passes, and that's really key in the Browns offense. That's really more dynamic this year than it was last year, even without Josh Gordon. So that's my thoughts on John Dorsey and the Chiefs and Baker. You guys got anything else you want to talk about in terms of basketball, football, anything you want to talk about? We're here for the next 13 minutes. The team backs up Baker. Yeah, you can tell the team played for him harder when Baker came in. Tyrod was the stopgap between Baker Mayfield coming in, and when Baker came in, the team's energy just. And me and Tyler was watching that game together, so you can agree.
Well, that energy is really because. Not even because they didn't do good. It's just that Baker came in.
Baker came in. He didn't have to make a pass.
That was crazy.
He could have played bad the rest of the game, but the fact that
as soon as they seen him step on the field, the crowd lost their fucking mind.
Yeah, Baker got drafted for the energy and the fire he brings. He got drafted for the chip on the shoulder, and it's the same thing. He got drafted for the chip on the shoulder. Baker Mayfield, he lost his starting. It's so crazy because we was just talking about John Dorsey. Well, there's a connection between John Dorsey, Patrick Mahomes, and Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield originally attended Texas Tech University, where he lost his starting jobs to Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes sat there and broke all types of records. And I just seen a highlight video the other day of Patrick Mahomes throwing 700 yards in the game against Baker Mayfield, who threw 500 yards in that game. So that's the kind of crazy offenses these guys come from. Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that in the first stream, weren't we?
Yeah, I think so. But Patrick Mahomes comes from an air raid offense where they like throwing the ball deep. So it's only fitting he's on the Chiefs. And he has those long ball threats like Tyreek Hill or Kareem Hunt or Chris Conley. David says, don't they match up soon? I believe the Browns and the Chiefs play this year, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta check the schedule.
Right now.
Yeah, Ty's gonna look, but I gotta check the schedule. And that's gonna be great. That's gonna be a great match because Other than Baker Mayfield, that Browns defense is relentless. Myles Garrett is so good on that D line. He brings pressure every time. Trust me, my quarterback just went up against him. It was a great game for Myles Garrett. He got to him a couple times, so that's really good. Keep those comments rolling in, guys. We still got 10 minutes left in the stream, and we want you guys.
Yeah, they play week 9.
We want you guys to know our thoughts on every single sports topic before we leave. They play who? Week 9?
Yeah, the Chiefs and the Browns play week 9.
Baker has made people actually want to watch those games, and that's the idea of drafting Baker Mayfield, a guy who brings the kind of energy. You see what he did with Oklahoma, and he transformed that offense. Before they had him, they had Trevor Knight, and Trevor Knight was trash, and you know that. And then before that, they had Sam Bradford. So before Baker, they weren't really good until since Sam Bradford. So yeah, I agree.
But I gotta grab my charger.
And traffic says thoughts on Dak Prescott. Ty, I don't think Dak Prescott is really that good.
Fucking ass.
I was on his bandwagon early in his career, but now I see he can't make some of the bigger throws that other quarterbacks can make in the league. I do think he can still succeed with the Cowboys. Defense has to step up big time. The offensive line has to help out a little bit more. David Gilbert, Brett, what did I tell you about Dak years and years ago? David Gilbert did say that. Did say Dak was overrated. You know, he's a check down quarterback, and David Gilbert just said he has no arm, and I agree. He does have no arm. He doesn't throw the deep ball, but a lot of that is due to Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator of the Cowboys. He doesn't drop any deep throws, and they're not running the ball enough.
Give Zeke the ball.
Give Zeke the ball.
That's what I think about. That's what I think about Dak.
Hey, it's simple. Give Zeke the ball. And when Zeke doesn't rush for at least 15 yards in the first half, it's a problem. He's your only weapon on the offense. No more Des
But don't
Bryant,
let that change the fact
Wade.
that last game, Zeke did make some mistakes. I mean,
there it goes.
There was a play.
What is it?
There was a couple of plays where Zeke made mistakes. Like he had a fumble.
Yeah.
There was a time where he had a receiving touchdown he could have got, but he stepped out of bounds before he caught it. I mean,
yeah,
that's just a couple of mistakes though.
Exactly.
I mean, it cost him the game. I mean, you can point the finger at whoever at that point because of the mistakes he made, but he's still the best player on that team. He has to get the ball more.
Traffic says fire Jason Garrett, and my dad is gonna watch this later. But I want you to know this is what he's been telling me This is what he's been telling me from jump about his Cowboys. He's a Cowboys fan for so long. He says fire Jason Garrett. The problem is Jason Garrett and that coaching staff. It is. But bigger than that, the problem is Jerry Jones. He has yet to hire a true GM to run his team. He runs his team himself. And it's never good like that. You don't mix business with pleasure. You have to hire the right people. Somebody like John Dorsey. Somebody like a Mike McCagnon. Somebody like a good GM in the league who can make stuff happen out of draft picks and bring in big-time free agents. I think that once they flip that coaching staff and once Jerry Jones comes to his senses and hires an actual GM, the Cowboys will be better off. But he's with that.
And then when they hire some actual receivers, then they'll definitely be better.
Exactly. And I wouldn't even close the idea of Des Bryant coming back to the Cowboys.
Yeah, me either. We were talking about that earlier. He brings that energy that they need. Like, they don't look like they want to play football. They look like they want to go home and the game just started.
Why hasn't anybody signed Des? That's a good question, Traffic. That's a great question. Des Bryant is
I thought he was going to go to the Browns. What happened to that?
Yeah, I thought that too. Des Bryant is a good receiver, but I think what overshadows Des Bryant is his attitude, and I don't really see it as a bad thing. Des has a passion for football, and that's where the hate, that's where the anger comes from. When you're losing, you don't like to lose. I think we all can agree on that.
But at the same time, right, Brett, the Cowboys right now need that attitude. Because no one has the attitude. No one has the energy out right now on that team. They'll fuck around and go on a 3-0, and then they're just on the sideline looking at each other like they're fucking retards. No one's complaining.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy. David Gilbert says, I think the Browns should give him more money than what he wanted. Him and Baker playing together would be crazy. I agree, David. That would be crazy. Those two attitudes together, that can win a lot of games. But if it goes the wrong way, that could lose a lot of games. And I think John Dorsey and Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley are being cautious of the environment around Baker. That would.
Well, but my question to you, how do you feel about Hugh Jackson's choices that he's been making?
I think they did it right. I think they did the right thing by releasing Josh Gordon. I think Hugh Jackson, his problem is he's more of a friend to the players than he is a coach. And there's a fine line. And Bill Parcells, one of the greatest head coaches of all time, will tell you, you can't be a player's friend. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be a player's friend. You have to be more their coach. You have to set rules and set expectations for your players.
It's like a role model, like a parent.
Exactly. You have to be a parent, not a parent, because these guys are grown men. You have to be a You have to be a coach. You have to be strict with these guys, disciplinary. But they have to be strict with themselves.
Though, you can't be friends with your parents.
Yeah, exactly. But parents are responsible for you.
Disciplined.
You're responsible for yourself. When I say discipline, I mean on the field. You know what I'm saying? How these players play with discipline on the field. But like, he has to be more strict on these guys, but they have to be more strict on themselves, and that's why I like Jarvis Landry. And he had a famous speech in the beginning of the season where he's like, "Look, if you're not hurt, bro, you got to go out there, you got to practice." And that's the kind of players they need. David Grover says another Mike Tomlin. I agree. Traffic says, will Josh work in New England? I think he will. I don't see how he doesn't. He's a talent, and Brady does well with talent. You see what happened with Randy Moss. Chad Ochocinco was way too old and out of his prime to ever work with Tom Brady. He wasn't running routes the same way. He wasn't as tough as he used to be. But Josh Gordon is...
one thing about Tom Brady working with talent, like, it came to my... I was watching Undisputed, and, like, it brought to my attention, he's never won anything when he's had a good receiver on his team.
No, he literally wins with He literally wins with Julian Edelman and Amendola
and he makes them niggas look like they're fucking gods.
And gods, bro. Like Edelman had one of the biggest catches against that Falcons. And I was talking to David and Traffic that night, and bro, that shit was crazy. It was crazy. Josh Gordon is not ready that game. Josh Gordon is one of the most talented receivers this league has ever seen, but his personal issues and the drugs hasn't given you a chance to see him. Josh Gordon is really talented, and I think Tom Brady will highlight that.
He was a Pro Bowl receiver.
He sure was. He had one of the greatest seasons of ever as a wide receiver in 2013. People gotta realize that. I think Josh Gordon is gonna work with Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady brings out the best talent, the most talent out of Josh Gordon. Stay off the weed, dude. Hey, look. Stephen A ain't got nothing on me, bro. First Take ain't got nothing on this show. We do real things here, dog. We do real things.
You heard?
But I'm gonna stay on the weed. You hear me? Let me chill.
Yeah, I'm just gonna contact the local authorities at this very moment.
Snitch. Anyway, what's going on next? Come on, guys. Come on. I know we got 5 more minutes. I want to answer all y'all questions. I want to do it in a timely fashion, and I want y'all to know again and again and again that we appreciate y'all for coming in this stream and talking to us for the last 2 hours. It means the world to me and my boy TyThaGoat. Our channels are gonna be in the description. Please like, comment, and subscribe whenever you see our videos. We will show love. We will talk back to you. And my nigga Shannon with the edibles. Does Mookie get MVP? Yeah, I don't see why not. Mookie Betts is the best player in baseball this year. He's performed at every big level. He's beaten the Yankees. Mookie Betts. He's just an all-around talent, great defender, and Boston is really lucky to have him on their team. And JD with the home runs this year.
Follow our Instagram, bro.
JD with the home runs this year. JD Martinez is that's probably the most underrated pickup of the offseason, and it took a little while for Boston to get that deal done, but that was a great deal that they made with JD Martinez. And I see this Boston Red Sox team being elite for a lot of years with the team that they got, and especially if they keep Chris Sale and that pitcher staff intact. Oh yeah. Well, guys, the stream is winding down. We got 3 minutes before the end of it, and
we got 5 more minutes. We got 5 more. 6:55.
Oh yeah, okay.
Early, remember?
All right, yeah, exactly.
I'm keeping tabs.
I want you guys to know, anybody and everybody, people who wasn't a stream who are gonna see the stream later. I want you guys to know that this wouldn't be possible without you guys being here for us. We appreciate the support from everybody. And I know I keep saying that. I know it sounds like a broken... Exactly. I know it sounds like a broken record, but me and Tyler, we worked very hard to start this and get the... We do this all day, bro. We to prep for the show, we do everything all day. We got to work hard.
I've been up since 7 o'clock working on everything for this shit.
Making
thumbnails, tags, descriptions, Instagram.
Exactly.
I mean, we've been working hard.
What happened to the Nets? Lack of batting talent, David. Juan Soto, man, he's a teenager, 19 years old. He was raking at the end. At least from the middle of the season, he was raking. And Bryce Harper, of course, you can expect from him. But after those 2 years, really not a lot of talent on that batting side of the ball, the hitting side of the ball. And Max Scherzer, he pitched well, of course, like he always does. But they need another reliable star pitcher on that team for them to be good. I think this was their last year to do it, and they messed up. I think Bryce Harper leaves next year and goes to either the Cubs or the Yankees. Does DeGrom leave the Mets? He should have come to. And I think I was talking to Tyler about this yesterday. DeGrom was a big trade target, and I think the Yankees should have did whatever it took to get him because that guy is a monster. Simply put, 1.71 ERA. That is crazy. That's like real good numbers, and I think he should be in consideration for the NL MVP. I think the Yankees should have did whatever it took. Just like the Jets should have did whatever it took to get Khalil Mack, the Yankees should have did whatever it took to get Jacob deGrom. Traffic says dark horse NFL team. This for me and you, Tyler. My dark horse NFL team is I gotta think.
The Colts. You don't say the Jets, you're a real fan.
Nah, I ain't a real fan. My dark horse NFL team is gonna be the Buccaneers this year. Their offensive talent on that team is crazy. Mike Evans is a great receiver. Deshaun Jackson, a very fast receiver. O.J. Howard, great tight end. He has the speed of a receiver. They have a lot of weapons on that team. Offensive line is playing really good, and their defense is playing really well. So I have to give it. And Traffic says his is the Bears. We love the Bears, bro. Me and Tyler, I love the Bears especially. Khalil Mack is a one-man wrecking crew. He can do things by himself.
That's it. Yeah, he's just entertaining to watch. He carries that team.
Exactly.
Ridiculous.
David Gilbert, the Steelers.
But like I said, mine is definitely the Colts.
I love the Steelers. They trash though. Le'Veon to the Jets. You feel me? 2019 type shit.
That's really crazy.
Oh, let's get it, bro. We're not even good. Bro, you guys are great, bro. You're gonna get back to the old Pittsburgh, terrible towel kind of play, but you just gotta give it some time, man. This is a new season, a lot of changes, a lot of rifts in between in the locker room. You guys are gonna get on track. Trust me about that. If I know anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be the Steelers.
We've been sitting on this screen for a minute, but
I know. Well,
I'm just reading the comments.
Exactly. If we beat the Ravens, we're the favorites again. Yeah, I think you guys have to win this week, and there's no such thing as a must-win in Week 4 unless you're 0-3. But if you guys win, if you guys win this game, that will boost your morale for the upcoming weeks, and maybe Le'Veon looks at it and like, okay, I want to go play because we have a chance. This is a must-win. It is a must-win, David. I agree. Great stuff, guys. I appreciate it. We do appreciate it so much for commenting, bro. We have some great conversations every single day. This is a huge game. You know how huge it is. You're a Pittsburgh fan, and you should feel that pressure more than anybody. I know I get nervous when the Jets play in the big game. So, yeah, but you guys for the comments, bro. You guys did really well today. We appreciate you guys for talking to us. And it's episode 3, guys, and it's concluding, but I must say, it was a success. This was our best stream so far, and I want to see progress every day. The words may not be coming out great just yet, but it will. Give me a week, give me 2 weeks. You know, we'll get it together.
It's football season. I'm still learning. So
yeah, and Tyler, and I give my counterpart credit because he has watched football like he hasn't watched football ever. I remember like 3 years ago, me and Ty used to watch every postseason game together. He doesn't do that anymore. He stopped doing that for a while, but he's getting back. Then. He's getting back into that, and I appreciate that for the good of the show. And that's a good counterpart. That's a good partner for me. And I appreciate the fans and everybody who's coming to support and sharing and liking. My family, my friends, my girlfriend who's been an instrumental part in this process, and everybody who's giving me well wishes and comments and us well wishes and comments. David Gilbert says I'll take the Rams to the Super Bowl. You better, man. That's a good bet.
I like it.
That's a good bet right there. Like but they're a really good team. I think they may even go undefeated, and we'll talk about that in tomorrow's episode. But
Monday.
We'll talk on Monday's episode. Sorry about that, guys. Tomorrow on our separate channel. Oh, we got time?
No, yeah, we still got a couple minutes. Go ahead. Right. Finish up.
I mean, look.
We got there's 7, but go ahead, finish up.
Look.
Go ahead, say what you were gonna say about
the channels. Okay, so on Saturday and Sunday, talk fantasy on Monday. I definitely will do that, David. I was thinking about doing it anyway. I haven't brought up the idea to Ty, but I'm gonna do that on Monday.
Your word.
On Saturdays and Sundays, we stream on our separate channels. Ty is busy this weekend, unfortunately. So on Saturdays, he won't be streaming out.
Sunday, yeah, definitely Sunday. We'll be streaming on our other channels. The links is in the description. I'm pretty sure. I know Tyler subbed to both, but David, if you could sub to both of our other channels.
Novaciane Gaming and TyThaGoat. That's in the description. Make sure you find that in our social media.
Yes, in the description. Brad, whatever you want to stream this weekend, I'll stream it. Even Fortnite, even though I don't play that shit no more.
Yeah, we stream everything from 2K from 2K to Madden. We play Madden. And we play
Well, he streams Madden. I don't got Madden.
I stream Madden. I play Spider-Man. I play Fortnite. So we have a lot of things that we do on our separate channels. And when you come in there, it's more of a fun show. We're gonna
yeah.
You know, we really go hard and make we mess around and shit. So you already know how that goes. Like I said, thank everybody from Tyler, from you putting in our hard work today, to David and Tyler and Tyler holding this conversation in here. We had a great time today, and we'll be back Monday. Peace, love, happiness, and check out our Uncensored Sports episode 4 Monday from 5 to 7, and every weekday from 5 to 7.
Yeah, we got you, Tyler. Recaps is definitely a main subject of Monday. But anyways, we out. I just wanted to say that, but yeah, we out.
All right, you guys have a good night.